Chapter 225. If Ancestor Bloodthirsty wasn't worried that killing Su Junqing would affect the morale of his disciples, he would have killed the kid to train as well. However, it was a critical time to fight against the spiritualists. He not only had to keep the kid under control, but he also had to give him some rewards to let his subordinates know that as long as they worked well for him, there would be many benefits. Ancestor Bloodthirsty quickly made up his mind. He stood up and left the blood pond, calling for Skinny Monkey. "Ancestor, what are your orders?" Skinny Monkey bowed and asked politely. "Su Junqing did a good job this time. Bring out blood slave number 13 and give it to him." Ancestor Bloodthirsty took out a red flower-shaped seal and threw it to Skinny Monkey. Skinny Monkey's heart jumped when he caught the seal. Blood slave number 13 was Yunji. Su Junqing had sent Yunji to the ancestor to please him. Now, the ancestor gave Yunji to Su Junqing. What did he mean? What? Is there a problem? The ancestor looked at the silent Skinny Monkey with a trace of doubt in his voice. Skinny Monkey immediately came back to his senses and said, "I just can't remember who blood slave number 13 is." "The one with the red mole between her eyebrows." Ancestor Bloodthirsty remembered clearly. "Oh, it's her." Skinny Monkey suddenly understood and then showed a wretched and regretful expression. "My brothers thought that the blood slave would definitely go to the blood cave. I'm going to be disappointed." "What's there to be disappointed about? Send my message. After we resist the Spiritualist Alliance's attack, they can use my blood slaves as they wish," Ancestor Bloodthirsty said generously. "Thank you, Ancestor." Skinny Monkey was overjoyed and immediately flattered him again. "Old Ancestor is mighty. With you here, we will definitely defeat those rookies from the Spiritualist Alliance and give our bloodsucking sect more blood resources." "All right, stop flattering me. Go and do your work." Ancestor Bloodthirsty waved his hand impatiently. Yes. Skinny Monkey immediately bowed and left. He didn't dare to delay and immediately took the seal to the 100-Flower Palace. Yunji was secretly cultivating. Hearing Skinny Monkey call for her, her heart jumped. Ancestor Bloodthirsty should be cultivating right now. He shouldn't be looking for a blood slave to serve him. Did something happen? She was anxious and her face showed a bit of worry. Seeing Skinny Monkey, she asked nervously, "Brother Skinny Monkey, what happened?" "The old ancestor wants to give you to Su Junqing," the Skinny Monkey said in a deep voice. "To who?" Yunji thought she had heard him wrong. "Su Junqing." Skinny Monkey-like emphasized. "Why is he here?" Yunji felt a chill rising from the soles of her feet, making her whole body feel cold. But at the same time, a ball of fire was lit in her heart, burning her to the point that she had to breathe heavily to avoid suffocating to death. Skinny Monkey Man knew the grudge between Yunji and Su Junqing. He could understand her pain, so he told him how Su Junqing had brought his grandfather to bloodthirsty progenitor. To even his own grandpa, Su. Crazy as, Skinny God, Skinny Yi sighed. Although he wasn't a good person and had harmed many people for the sake of cultivation, at least he wouldn't do anything to his family. He would also do his best to protect the people he wanted to protect. Su Junqing, Yunji murmured. She wanted to bite the name and swallow it with her blood. Su Junqing, Yunji muttered to herself. It was as if she wanted to crush the name and swallow it with her blood. Su Junqing, Yunji murmured. She seemed to want to bite the name and swallow it with her blood. "Don't do anything stupid." Skinny Monkey was worried that Yunji would do something wrong. "You don't have to worry too much. You are a gift from the patriarch. Su Junqing would never dare to kill you," Skinny Monkey said softly. "I would rather he killed me." Yunji's voice sounded like she was weeping blood. Tears flowed down her fair and beautiful face. Her tears were sincere, but most of them were for Skinny Monkey. The Skinny Monkey-like man was distressed. He quickly comforted Yunji. "I know you're upset. But don't worry, Su Junqing won't live for long. After we defeat the Spiritualist Alliance, the ancestor will not spare him." Skinny Monkey had served Ancestor Bloodthirsty for many years. He knew what Ancestor Bloodthirsty was thinking. He knew that Ancestor Bloodthirsty would not tolerate a failure like Su Junqing. "I hope I can live until then." Yi Yunji wiped her tears and took out something from her pouch. She gave it to Skinny Monkey and said, "Brother Skinny Monkey, thank you for taking care of me. I don't have anything to thank you, so take this as a memento." Skinny Monkey took it and saw that it was a small wooden carving. The carving was of a lively monkey. "I will save you from here." Skinny Monkey held the monkey carving in his hand and said to Yunji as if he was making a vow. Yi Yunji just smiled. There was a bit of helplessness and a bit of gratitude in her eyes. "Let's go." Skinny Monkey suppressed his excitement and walked towards Su Juanqing's room. Yi Yunji followed him silently. Soon, the two of them arrived in front of a dilapidated room. They knocked on the wooden door above. "Who is it?" Su Juanqing's voice came. "Brother Su, it's me, Skinny Monkey." Skinny Monkey's attitude was familiar and his voice was normal. Su Juanqing hurried to open the door and greeted him enthusiastically. "Oh, it's Brother Skinny Monkey. What brings you here?" Then he glanced behind Skinny Monkey and saw a blood slave with a slender body. Her head was lowered, and her long black hair hung on both sides. He couldn't see her face clearly. "This blood slave number 13 is a gift from Ancestor Bloodthirsty." Skinny Monkey took out the red seal Ancestor Bloodthirsty had given him and pretended to be envious. "Kid, you're the favorite of Ancestor Bloodthirsty. When you get rich, don't forget to mention your brother." "Don't say that, Brother Skinny Monkey. I need to rely on you in the future," Su Juanqing said modestly. "All right, don't stand on ceremony with me. Take this seal, drip a drop of blood on it, and then stamp it on this blood slave's body. She's yours now. This is a reward from the ancestor himself. You better enjoy it, kid." Skinny Monkey suppressed his heartache and pretended to be happy. He handed the seal to Su Juanqing and said goodbye to him after a round of flattery. "Take care, Brother Skinny Monkey." After Su Juanqing saw Skinny Monkey off, he took the red seal and looked at the blood slave the Ancestor Bloodthirsty had given him. Although he couldn't see her face because her head was lowered, he could see that her body wasn't bad. Moreover, she was full of blood and flesh. Su Juanqing knew that Ancestor Bloodthirsty only sucked blood and never had sex. These blood slaves were still very clean. "Raise your head. Let me look at you." Su Juanqing's voice was gentle like a lover's murmur. Chapter 226. Su Juanqing had his own plans. This blood slave had served the bloodthirsty progenitor for a long time, so she should know something. He had just arrived at Blood Cloud Peak and needed someone to provide information. This blood slave was a good choice. The blood slave slowly raised her head. Her cloud-like hair fluttered along with her movements and fell on her cheeks, revealing a beautiful face. The red mole between her eyebrows was as dazzling as cinnabar under the candlelight. Yunji. Su Juanqing's eyes widened as he looked at Yi Yunji in disbelief. Why wasn't she dead yet? "Sir Su, long time no see." Yi Yunji's resentful voice sounded in the room as if it was calling from hell. "Yunji, are you all right?" Su Juanqing reacted quickly and showed a complicated expression of awkwardness, melancholy, worry, guilt, and other emotions. "Thanks to Sir Su, I'm still alive," Yi Yunji said word by word. "I know you must be blaming me." Su Juanqing heaved a long sigh, but he was desperately trying to think of an excuse to fool Yi Yunji. He really didn't think that Yi Yunji was still alive and that the bloodthirsty progenitor had given her to him. Could it be that the old ancestor was warning him? "You destroyed me and my family. Shouldn't I blame you?" Yi Yunji's eyes burned with deep hatred. If it weren't for the fact that the spirit energy she had was not Su Juanqing's match, she really wanted to rush up and die with him. "Yunji, I know you hate me, but I have my own difficulties." Su Juanqing wanted to say something but stopped. He sighed painfully and said helplessly, "You've been in Bloodthirsty sect for a long time, so you should understand my situation. I'm just a dog in Bloodthirsty sect. I have to obey the progenitor's orders." "You mean that the progenitor forced you to do all those dirty things?" Yi Yunji sneered. "The progenitor wants the treasure map. Your Yi family is guilty of possessing it. If it were someone else in Bloodthirsty sect, your entire family would be captured and used as fertilizer. Yi Yu wouldn't be able to escape. Su Juanqing's words were very skillful. He did not try to absolve himself, but this comparison showed that he had been lenient towards the Yi family. At least she and Yi Yu were still alive. In that case, I should thank you. Yi Yunji was no longer the innocent girl from before. Of course, she wouldn't believe Su Juanqing's nonsense. I know you resent me, and I have nothing to say. Since old ancestor has returned you to me, I will definitely treat you well in the future and make up for my mistakes. Su Juanqing's handsome face was filled with gentleness and determination to make up for his mistakes. Ha, do you really think that ancestor gave me to you to reward you? Yi Yunji laughed sarcastically, then said with a malicious tone, actually, he just wants to stabilize the morale of the army. After this incident, you will die without a doubt. Su Juanqing's pupils shrank as he asked, what do you mean? You know forefather Bloodthirsty's temper very well. He doesn't accept losers. Yi Yunji looked at Su Juanqing's pale face and felt really good. The failure of the Alchemy City plan has nothing to do with me. It's all because Yi Jioga is too cunning. For the forefather's grand plan, I even offered my own grandfather to him. Su Juanqing angrily said. What's the point of saying that to me? I'm not the forefather. Yi Yunji leisurely said. Su Juanqing's face was ashen. He knew that Yi Yunji was telling the truth. The forefather was an eccentric person and hated losers the most. Especially since the Alchemy City plan was related to his advancement, he couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Lu Yunfei and Xiong Yunhu were both dead, and he was the only one left alive. Su Juanqing originally wanted to take Lu Yunfei's corpse and escape, but his bewitching art had reached a critical point. He had to come back for the next merit law. After thinking about it, Su Juanqing finally came up with a way to use the old man as an apology. The bloodthirsty ancestor praised him for his filial piety. Although the forefather didn't punish him for his negligence, he didn't give him the bewitching art either. Su Juanqing already had a bad feeling in his heart, but Yi Yunji's words frightened him even more. Yunji, you have to help me this time. Su Juanqing pinched Yi Yunji's shoulder, his eyes flashing red. This was the sign of the bewitching art activating. Yi Yunji stared into Su Juanqing's eyes and began to feel dizzy. This familiar feeling immediately told her that Su Juanqing was using the bewitching art on her again. The bewitching art had a lot to do with the fact that she was so hell-bent on following this heartless man. She had been thinking about revenge day and night, so how could she not be on guard against Su Juanqing's move? Yi Yunji clenched her fists hidden in her sleeves. Her red fingernails smeared with heart-devouring powder pierced her palm. The unique pain of the heart-devouring powder immediately pulled her back to reality. Yi Yunji was clear-headed, but she still had a confused expression on her face. She answered Su Juanqing's question in a daze. The forefather's cultivation failed. The blood lotus is about to mature, the spiritualist alliance is waiting for an opportunity, and the bloodthirsty sect is wavering. Su Juanqing listened to the good news coming out of Yi Yunji's mouth, and his face revealed a crazy expression. In this way, not only could he take advantage of the alliance's attack on the bloodthirsty sect to get the complete bewitching art, but he could also get more benefits. Furthermore, he could obtain more benefits, such as the precious blood lotus flower. Yi Yunji looked at Su Juanqing's undisguised greed with hazy eyes, and her red lips curved imperceptibly. Su Juanqing, I will definitely return the pain I've suffered to you 1,000 times over. Blood Cloud Peak was surging, but Shang Jing was very calm. After Yi Jioga finished protecting Junichen, he left a bottle of essence cultivating pills and cherry pills for the awakened Luo Tian, and then returned with Zishang. As soon as he entered the gate, he heard buzzing sounds. A black and mighty fat insect flapped its wings and flew towards Yi Jioga, and complained discontentedly, "Where have you been? Master and I have been waiting for you for a long time." The feeling of being questioned by a goo insect was too fresh, so Yi Jioga replied very seriously, "I went to see Junichen, he had some problems with his cultivation." Black Overlord obviously did not care about the goo father that raised him, and instead surrounded Yi Jioga and shouted, "Where's my master's reward? Quickly give it to me." Since when could goo insects help their master get rewarded? Yi Jioga felt that these goo insects were becoming more and more temperamental. In order to encourage them to continue, she simply gave Yi Yu's reward to Black Overlord. This is the newly refined Spirit Beast Pill, Cherry Pill. Yi Jioga took out a bottle of Cherry Pill. Black Overlord's small eyes shone with excitement and immediately rushed up to hug the jade bottle that was even bigger than him, and then turned into a black light and disappeared. Chapter 227. As soon as Black Lord left, Yi Yu rushed out and asked anxiously, "Where's my Black Lord?" "He flew away with your reward." Yi Jioga pointed in the direction where Black Lord had disappeared. "That stupid goo got ahead of me again." Yi Yu was so angry that his face turned black. That Black Lord had no control over himself. Every time there was something delicious, he would eat until he died. He could finish a bottle of Spirit Beast pills in 15 minutes. He was a typical Sunlight Clan member. When there was nothing left, he was jealous of Little Red and the others and pestered Yi Yu every day to buy more. How annoying. "Do you want to get it back?" Yi Jioga asked irresponsibly. "It's useless now. Let's talk about business first." Yi Yu sighed. With that big mouth of the Black Tyrant, it was likely that even the bottle had been swallowed by now, so what was the point of looking for it? "What's the matter?" Yi Jioga cooperatively changed the topic. The Spiritualist Alliance is in a heated argument because of Grandmaster Dongfang's master-building pill. Many sects are trying to squeeze more people into their ranks. Right now, it's very noisy. I don't know when it will be settled. If we wait for them, I'm afraid we'll have to wait for a very long time. "Are you sure about the leader?" Yi Jioga asked. "Yes, Gong Shifan is leading the team," Yi Yu said confidently. "It's him." Yi Jioga thought of the handsome uncle who had helped her out. He was not a simple character. If he was leading the team, the Spiritualist Alliance would not be able to make a fuss for long. "Gong Shifan?" Zi Shang suddenly said coldly. Obviously, he remembered that it was the person who had helped Yi Jioga when he was asleep. "Ask Dongfang Yao to pressure the Spiritualist Alliance. If they can't decide on the team in 10 days, we won't wait." Zi Shang looked at Yi Yu and ordered, "Can we not wait?" Yi Jioga doubted that they could even fill the gap between the bloodthirsty ancestor's teeth. The bloodthirsty ancestor is prepared. The Spiritualist Alliance is still arguing. We must give them some pressure. Zi Shang's words were well-founded. Yi Jioga thought it was a good idea, so he said to Yi Yu, "Do as he said." Yi Yu was about to leave. Yi Jioga suddenly remembered something and hurriedly stopped him. "Wait, let me draw some blood first." "Blood?" Yi Yu was stunned. He didn't understand what Yi Jioga wanted to do with his blood. "With your current cultivation, it's still dangerous to go to Blood Cloud Mountain. I plan to help you refine some secret pellets that can increase your cultivation in a short time." Yi Jioga had gotten this idea from Bloodthirsty Forefather. His blood beads could stimulate the fighting strength of Xiong Yunhu and the others. In that case, she could use the same principle to refine a few pills for Yi Yu in case he needed them. This way, he wouldn't be fooled by Lu Yunfei like he was in Alchemy City. All right. With such a life-saving method, Yi Yu was naturally happy. He extended his hand without hesitation. Yi Jioga took out the sterilized blood vessel and started to bleed Yi Yu. "Young miss, if you refine pills for us every day, will it affect your cultivation?" Yi Yu asked carefully. This question had always been in his heart. Other alchemists and spiritualists cultivated in seclusion, constantly improving their pill refinement and cultivation. Very few of them were distracted. However, young miss did many things personally and often fought with them on the front lines. How would she have time to cultivate like this? "You don't need to worry about this. I know what I'm doing." Yi Jioga couldn't tell Yi Yu that it wasn't that she didn't want to cultivate. It was because she was poisoned by the 9-layer bone shatterer. Cultivating too much would easily cause her dantian to explode. At that time, she wouldn't even know how she died. Speaking of which, when she went to find Yi Yuxuan last time, she actually forgot whether he was the one who poisoned her. To be honest, Yi Jioga didn't think it was Yi Yuxuan. At that time, she was so young. If Yi Yuxuan wanted to kill her, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. He didn't need to use such a high-end and special poison. However, she still needed to ask him. Yi Jiuge's mind was full of thoughts, but her hands didn't stop moving. Soon, she gave Yi Yu a bottle of blood. Is this enough? Yi Yu couldn't wait for Yi Jiuge to give him more blood so that he could refine more secret pills. Yes. Secret pills were something that could only be used when there was no other choice. How could they be used as food? Yi Yu put down his sleeves, curled his fingers, and whistled. Then, Black Tyrant flew out of the window with the jade bottle in his arms. His fat belly was so bloated that it was about to droop. Black Tyrant, who had just received his master's reward, perfectly displayed the true essence of the sunlight race. The jade bottle couldn't be any emptier. Let's go. Yi Yu shoved Black Tyrant into his pocket and left with Yi Jiuge. Yi Jiuge put away Yi Yu's blood and told Zishang about the 9-layer bone shatter. This sovereign has already asked for you. It wasn't your scumbag father who poisoned you. Zishang's answer was completely out of Yi Jiuge's expectations. When did you ask? Yi Jiuge asked in surprise. They were always together, so how could Zishang have the time to ask Yi Yuxuan? Is that important? Zishang raised his eyebrows. Alright, that's not important. Since it wasn't Yi Yuxuan who poisoned me, who else could it be? Yi Jiuge was very confused. I suspect it was your mother, Yun Jiaojiao. Zishang said something shocking again. You're saying it was my mother who poisoned me? Yi Jiuge was about to explode. Could it be that not only did she have a scumbag father, she also had a scumbag mother? I'm guessing that your mother already knew that your scumbag father was harboring evil intentions. That's why she poisoned you with the 9-layer bone shatterer so that you would be able to survive. At that time, if Yi Jiuge was still a talented first wife's daughter, she would most likely have been killed by Yi Yuxuan. Only by being a cripple would she be able to live longer. Only by staying alive would she have a chance to reverse the situation. Yi Jiuge was silent. Although her impression of her mother was already very faint, Mother Qing often said that her mother looked weak on the outside but was decisive on the inside. It was indeed very likely that she would do such a thing. Although you can't cultivate quickly right now, if you completely remove the 9-layer bone shatterer, you will be reborn and become an overlord spirit body. Zishang said. Not only was the overlord spirit body an excellent aptitude for body tempering, it was also extremely good for spiritual energy cultivation. Then how do I completely remove the 9-layer bone shatterer? Yi Jiuge asked anxiously. There was always a ticking time bomb in her dantian, causing her to always feel extremely uneasy. Cultivation is not something that can be rushed. First, open up your meridians. When we dual cultivate, this sovereign will help you force out the second poison. Zishang was not anxious at all. Now that he had successfully transformed, he could always stay by Yi Jiuge's side to protect her, so she could take her time. Chapter 228. You're not in a hurry, but I am. With Zishang's previous unreliable behavior, it would be strange if Yi Jiuge believed him. Don't even think about cultivating it. Use the white bone fire to refine your thunder snake illusionary whip. It will also increase your combat power. Zishang's voice was very sincere, but his attitude was very perfunctory. Really? Yi Jiuge took out the thunder snake illusionary whip from her waist. After a period of refining, this demonic weapon seemed to be more intelligent. The snake eyes on the handle faintly flashed with light. The snake body kept moving, but it was still a bit away from advancing. If you can get a 4th-rank Dark Soul Grass and refine the Thunder Snake Illusionary Whip, not only will it advance, it will also gain a Poison Fog skill. Zishang said, There is no Dark Soul Grass on the market in Thunder Country. Where can I find it? Yi Jiuge was depressed. Dark Soul Grass only grew in the nests of poisonous demonic beasts. Now that all the high-level demonic beasts were in the demonic race's territory, it was very difficult to find it. If there is a chance, this sovereign will go back to the demonic race and help you get a stack. But this chance would have to wait for a long time. He could not show himself in the demonic race now. Forget it, I will think of a way. Yi Jiuge shook her head. Zishang complained every day that she did not have enough demonic power. Unless it was absolutely necessary, she could not bear to order him around. Yi Jioge put away the Thunder Snake illusionary whip and began to organize the pills she needed to refine. Previously, Luo Tian had mentioned to her that bloodthirsty sect had a mountain protection formation. Not only did it gather all kinds of miasma, poisonous gas, and bewitching gas, it also raised a large group of extremely vicious blood mosquitoes. It was very dangerous. Yi Jioge wanted to refine a high-grade pill that could expel poison and ward off insects. But the 3-star nether grass needed for this pill was not sold in Thunder Country. She was thinking if she should let Yi Yu buy some from other places. Just as Yi Jioge was organizing things, Mother Qing's voice came from outside. "Eldest miss, the Gong family has come to visit. Do you want to go out and meet them?" Gong family? Yi Jioge put down the brush and looked at Zishang. Zishang looked outside and said lazily, "It's Gong Shifan and Gong Honglei. There are also a few small fries." Why did Gong Shifan come to find me? Yi Jioge felt strange. She tidied up her appearance and walked out of the house. Zishang naturally stayed by her side. Wait. Yi Jioge stopped and said to Zishang, "Observe from the shadows and act according to the situation." Gong Shifan was a spirit master and had seen a lot of things. She was worried that Purple Deceased Sword would expose himself. All right. Zishang was indifferent to this, and he immediately concealed himself. "Your younger sister is shameless and seduced my grandfather. Your Yi clan's upbringing is truly disgusting." Yu Lingjun wanted to say more, but she was stopped by Qiao Xiaohua. "Junior sister, stop talking." Qiao Xiaohua signaled Gong Shifan with his eyes. Yu Lingjun noticed that Gong Shifan's expression was grave and cold. It was clear that he was very dissatisfied with her attitude. Yu Lingjun didn't dare to offend Gong Shifan and could only shut up. Gong Shifan suppressed Yu Lingjun and said, "Young lady, we came here today to ask about Alchemy City and the heretic cultivators. I thought Big Brother Bai and Big Brother Wan already told you." Yi Jioge heard from Yi Yu that Gong Shifan had already asked Bai Songling and Wan Ziang about the specifics. "They did indeed tell me. They heard that the heretic cultivators are experts in using poison. The only thing that can deal with them is the goo worms that your subordinates nurtured. So I wanted to ask if it's convenient for you to sell some to us?" Gong Shifan asked politely. He had been appointed as the leader to deal with bloodthirsty sect and had carefully investigated this matter. Yi Jioge's goo worms were an indispensable item on his list of resources. Yi Jioge's eyes brightened. She suddenly realized that she could use goo worms to exchange for dark soul grass with the Gong clan. The Gong clan had such a large family business, it would definitely be faster than her looking for it herself. Chapter 229. Yi Jioge was thinking about how to bring this up when Yu Lingjun suddenly said, "Fighting against heretic cultivators is everyone's responsibility. Do you want to take money?" Yi Jioge raised his head in surprise. Who gave this person so much face to ask for something for free? That's right. Aren't you known as the hero fighting against heretic cultivators? Are you not even willing to give me something like this? Yu Lingjun said matter-of-factly. She just didn't like Yi Jioge. He was just the elder sister of a lowly concubine, yet he was in the limelight in Alchemy City. This time, the Spiritualist Alliance was going to eradicate bloodthirsty sect. The competition in the alliance was so fierce that even her position was squeezed in with great difficulty. However, Yi Jioge easily occupied a spot and even made the leader Master Gong look at him in a different light. Those goo worms were just some unorthodox methods, yet he still dared to use them as a condition. He was simply shameless. Qiao Xiaohua didn't try to dissuade his junior sister this time. Although their Danyang sect was famous for alchemy, master establishment pills were also very scarce. Yu Lingjun had an elder grandfather, so she had an advantage in this aspect. He didn't have a backer, so he could only rely on himself. Thus, he was determined to get this master establishment pill. In his eyes, Yi Jioge was a competitor. Weakening the competitor's strength was also very good. Gong Honglei was also stunned by Yu Lingjun's shamelessness. After a while, he said angrily, Who do you think you are to make people selflessly contribute? Young Master Gong, I'm talking to Miss Yi. Why are you so agitated? Yu Lingjuan's gaze swept back and forth between Gong Honglei and Yi Jioge. Then, she muttered in a voice that everyone could hear, the younger sister is shameless, but the older sister is no better. Gong Honglei's face turned red with anger. If it wasn't for the fact that Yu Lingjun was a woman, he would have struck her. Miss Yu, please behave yourself. Young Master Gong and I are just friends. After Yi Jioge solemnly clarified his relationship with Gong Honglei, he said to Gong Shifan, but Miss Yu is right. Dealing with bloodthirsty sect is everyone's matter. Those who have the ability should contribute. I'm willing to give the goo worms for free. TSK, isn't it just a goo worm? You speak as if it's something amazing. Yu Lingjun sneered. Enough. Xiao Xiaohua also felt that his junior sister's words were a bit too much, and quickly pulled her back. Miss Yi, you don't have to do this. Gong Shifan frowned. He regretted bringing the two idiots from the Danyang sect with him. Master Gong, you don't have to be so polite. It's everyone's responsibility to fight against evil cultivators. If it were Miss Yu, she would do the same. Yi Jioge looked at Yu Lingjun with a smile. Of course, Yu Lingjun replied proudly. Since that's the case, there's something I need Miss Yu's help with. I have the recipe for a high-grade insect repellent pill that can resist the bloodthirsty sect's defensive formation. I'm just missing some 3-star serene grass. Miss Yu is in the Danyang sect, so I'm sure you won't be lacking in spirit herbs. You'll definitely be willing to contribute them. Yi Jioge smiled as he dug a hole for Yu Lingjun. Gong Honglei could already tell that Yi Jioge was digging a hole for Yu Lingjun to jump into. He was very willing to help her, so he said loudly, Miss Yi can actually refine this kind of spirit pill. That's great. This way, we have more confidence in dealing with the bloodthirsty sect. With that, Gong Honglei turned to Yu Lingjun and said, Miss Yu, this 3-star serene grass is all up to you. Don't just say it and not do it. Yu Lingjuan's expression changed and she quickly said, 3-star serene grass isn't cheap. Miss Yu, don't tell me you want me to contribute even the pill recipe. Yi Jioge interrupted Yu Lingjuan's words. Yu Lingjun really did have this idea. Gong Honglei rushed to say again, Miss Yi is worrying too much. The Danyang sect has so many pill recipes, but I haven't seen them contribute any. In other words, if you want someone else to contribute a pill recipe, you should take one out if you have the ability. Yu Lingjuan's expression changed again. Pill recipes were a secret. Even if her grandfather was the patriarch of the Danyang sect, he couldn't break this rule. Xiao Xiaohua saw that the situation was bad and quickly said, Young Master Gong, the 3-star serene grass is expensive. We are just disciples of the Danyang sect, so we can't make the decision. Is that so? When the two of you made the decision to ask Miss Yi to contribute her goo worms, you were quite loud. Gong Honglei didn't give these two any face at all. Although the Danyang sect was also a large sect, the Gong family wasn't to be trifled with. There was no need to give them face. How can those goo worms compare to the 3-star serene grass? Yu Lingjun said angrily. The 3-star serene grass was a rank 3 spirit herb. It wasn't easy to cultivate it, so it was impossible for their sect to give it away casually. Miss Yu, you're wrong. Everyone is showing their sincerity for this mission. The price is the sincerity, and my goo worms might not be worse than your 3-star serene grass. The market price of 3-star serene grass is less than 1,000 taels of gold each. My goo worms are priceless, Yi Jioge said coldly. You have the cheek to ask for a few stupid worms? Yu Lingjuan's face was full of anger. She wanted to go forward and give Yi Jioge 2 slaps. Enough. Gong Shifan was really angry this time. The pressure of a spirit master crushed towards Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua. Either the Danyang sect hand over 2 caddies of 3-star serene grass or you can scram. I don't need people who go back on their words. Master Gong, how can you do this? Yu Lingjun was so angry that her face was distorted. She was the direct disciple of the Danyang sect. Master Gong was actually chasing her away for the sister of a lowly concubine? Master Gong, My junior sister is young and insensible. Please forgive her. Xiao Xiaohua could see that Gong Shifan was really angry. If he persisted, he might really be kicked out. This was an opportunity that he had fought so hard for. He definitely couldn't take it back. Since it was Yu Lingjuan's fault, he could only let her bear it herself. I'll give you 3 days to prepare. Gong Shifan said coldly. Xiao Xiaohuan nodded helplessly and said to Yu Lingjun, Junior sister, let's go back first. Yu Lingjun stomped her feet and glared fiercely at Yi Jioge before turning around and leaving. Gong Honglei looked at the backs of the two of them and said angrily to Gong Shifan, Third uncle, these two people simply don't know what they're talking about. Are you really going to bring them along? If they're really willing to take the 3-star serene grass. Gong Shifan was non-committal. It's best if they're willing. Without the detoxification and insect repellent pill, it will be very difficult for us to deal with the bloodthirsty sect's protective mountain formation. Yi Jioge didn't just dig a hole to deal with Yu Lingjun. Chapter 230. I wonder if young Miss can explain this mountain guarding formation in detail? Gong Shifan's expression became serious. Their spiritualist alliance didn't have any information about this mountain guarding formation. Of course. Yi Jioge didn't hide anything and told him everything that Juni Chen told her. Gong Shifan was shocked when he heard that this formation was filled with obstacles and poisonous gas, and there were many hidden blood-sucking mosquitoes. It's actually so powerful. Yes, so I have to refine this poison-repelling and insect-repelling pill. Others didn't care, but Yi Jioge definitely had to refine it. Danyang sect doesn't have enough 3-star serene grass. I'll give you another batch. Please help me refine a batch of pills for 30 people. As for the goo worms I mentioned earlier, I'll buy them from you under my own name. Just name the price. Gong Shifan requested solemnly. He never thought of taking advantage of Yi Jioge. Master Gong is indeed straightforward. Forget about the payment. If possible, I hope you can help me find a dark soul grass. Yi Jioge was advancing by retreating. Gong clan had their own elixir shop in Baimu City. They definitely had a way to get it for her. No problem. Gong Shifan nodded without hesitation. Dark soul grass was precious, but it was worth it to win over Yi Jioge. Thank you. Yi Jioge nodded. It was easy to do things with straightforward people. Our team has about 15 people and will set off in 10 days. What's young Miss Ye's plan? Do you want to come with us? Gong Shifan asked. No need, we'll set off 5 days in advance. We'll go check the situation there first and meet up then. Yi Jioge originally wanted to move with Gong Shifan, but Yu Lingjuan's attitude made her change her mind. If the righteous sects were all arrogant people like this, she wouldn't go looking for trouble. Alright. Gong Shifan knew that Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua disgusted Yi Jioge, so he didn't force her and change the topic. I heard Master Yun sent an expert to protect you. Is that true? Yi Jioge nodded. I wonder if First Miss can introduce me? Gong Shifan said with a smile. Sorry, he's not in the residence. Yi Jioge said apologetically. That's a pity. Gong Shifan smiled regretfully. If there is a chance, I will bring him to visit you. Yi Jioge said politely. She still needed the help of the Gong family for her dark soul grass, so she still had to say some polite words. I will definitely welcome you with open arms. At this point, Gong Shifan's attitude became serious and he said solemnly, Eldest Miss, I have something to ask of you. Master Gong, please speak. Yi Jioge had already guessed what he wanted to say. Young Miss, you should have heard that my big brother's son, Gong Baiyu, was born with an eye disease. Many spiritual doctors were unable to treat it, so I want to ask Master Yun to take a look. As long as Master Yun can cure Baiyu's disease, our Gong family is willing to pay any price. Gong Shifan's promise was so heavy that even Yi Jioge was moved. Unfortunately, she didn't know where her grandfather was. She could only rely on herself to fight for this promise. Hence, Yi Jioge said apologetically, my grandfather's whereabouts are uncertain. Even if I have a way to send a message, I don't know when he will receive it. If Master Gong doesn't mind, can I first diagnose young Master Baiyu's illness? Of course, but Baiyu isn't in 100 Eye City now. He is in the Boundless sect, Gong Shifan said. Isn't the Boundless sect a place for Buddhist cultivators? Why did young Master Baiyu go there? Yi Jioga asked curiously. With the importance the Gong family placed on Gong Baiyu, it was impossible for them to let him become a monk. Gong Shifan hesitated for a moment before saying, Baiyu's eye disease is getting worse. He can't sleep at night. He can only rest for a while at the Boundless sect. It's that serious? Yi Jioga suddenly felt that something was wrong. The eye disease affected the brain, and it was spreading too quickly. Even she wasn't confident that she could cure it. Yes, I heard that the blood lotus can calm the mind. I wanted to find one for him to try. The reason why Gong Shifan was willing to be the team leader was not only to take revenge for Gong Hongyu, but also to obtain the blood lotus to alleviate Gong Baiyu's illness. I see. Yi Jioga sighed. Master Dongfang was also determined to obtain the blood lotus. He was even willing to use master establishment pills to exchange for it. He hoped that the blood lotus in the bloodthirsty sect would be enough for the two of them to fight for it. Gong Shifan chatted with brother Yi Jio for a while longer. Just as he was about to leave, Gong Honglei, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, Eldest miss, I have a question, but I don't know if I should ask it. Young Master Gong, please speak, Yi Jioga said politely. You are the only descendant of the Yun family. Why don't you change your surname back to Yun? Gong Honglei really wanted to ask this when Yu Lingjun humiliated Yi Jioga. This? What was she supposed to say? When she broke off with her scumbag father and came out to establish her own family, she still wanted to change her surname. However, Emperor Xianwu suddenly gave her a Yi residence plaque. It was obvious that he wanted her to continue fighting with her scumbag father. She had just established her own family, so it wasn't good for her to embarrass Emperor Xianwu. However, Yu Lingjun used the fact that Yi Shanshan was a concubine to attack her. This made her realize that as long as she continued to use her surname, Yi Yuxuan's tricks would affect her reputation. Now, it seemed that it was necessary to change her surname, but she still had to find the right time. I still have some face in front of Emperor Xianwu. If eldest Miss Yi wants to change, I can help. Gong Shifan could see Yi Jioga's fear. This simple sentence showed the demeanor of an expert. Although Emperor Xianwu was the emperor of Thunder Country, he was still far inferior to the Gong family. It was a piece of cake for the Gong family to ask him to change his edict. If that's the case, thank you. Yi Jioga nodded. Since the Gong family was willing to help, she didn't refuse. I'll get someone to send the 3-star nethergrass and the dark soulflower over later. I wonder if eldest Miss is free in the afternoon? Gong Shifan asked. I'll be at home for the next few days. Yi Jioga nodded. It's getting late. We'll leave first. Gong Shifan said goodbye and left. In the afternoon, the Gong family sent the 3-star nethergrass and the dark soulflower over. There were only 3 to 4 portions of the 3-star nethergrass. This was the Gong family's reserve in Thunder Country. The rest was being urgently deployed. It would take about 2 more days. There was enough dark soul grass. It was a box full of black spiritual herbs. The dense spiritual energy it emitted was like a black fog. The quality was very high. Gong Shifan was indeed a straightforward person. After Yi Jioga got the 3-star nethergrass, she prepared to make a cauldron of poison and insect-repellent pills. As for using the dark soul grass to forge the Thunder Snake illusionary whip, Zi Shang took over. Chapter 231. In the alchemy room, Yi Jioga stood in front of the small bronze cauldron and focused on controlling the white bone fire for the final stage of core formation. The cauldron emitted a white glow as the medicinal liquid quickly condensed into dozens of white pills. When the cauldron was opened, an extremely cold aura rushed out and the temperature in the room immediately plummeted. This yin pill is not bad. Zi Shang raised his eyebrows. It was his first time refining such a difficult yin pill, yet it was so perfect. Xiao Jioga was indeed amazing. Do you think Gong Shifan will dare to eat it if he knows it's a yin pill? Yi Jioga asked Zi Shang worriedly. She did not tell Gong Shifan that the poison and insect repellent pill she refined was a yin pill. This was because the yin pill was not suitable for spiritualists and would feel uncomfortable eating it. However, the bloodthirsty sect's protective formation was too powerful and spirit pills could not resist it. Only the Yin pill could fight poison with poison. He would be stupid if he doesn't eat it. Zishang did not think Gong Shifan was a fool. The greatest effect of the Yin pill Xiao Jioge refined was not to expel poison and insects but to kill them. After consuming this Yin pill, no matter what poison entered the body, it would immediately be metabolized and form poisonous sweat on the surface of the body. Mosquitoes would die if they touched it. This was the pill she specially researched based on the bloodthirsty sect's protective formation. You're right. Since I've already refined the pill, it's up to them whether they eat it or not. As Yi Jioge spoke, she put away the Yin pill in the cauldron. 2 more cauldrons and then help me deal with the dark soul grass. Zishang glanced at the remaining 3-star nether grass. The Gong family and Danyang sect had sent another batch, so they could refine a total of 300 Yin pills, which greatly exceeded their budget. Okay. Yi Jioge quickly refined the remaining 3-star nether grass and went to help Zishang sort out the dark soul grass. Each dark soul grass was only the length of a pinky and was completely black. The thicker the mist emitted, the more poisonous it was. What Yi Jioge needed to do was to use the white bone fire to extract the poison from the dark soul grass. Zishang stood in the corner and injected demonic power into the thunder snake illusionary whip. As the black and purple light poured into it, the thunder snake illusionary whip seemed to have awakened. Its snake eyes flickered with a cruel light. It nimbly flew out of Zishang's hand and circled around Yi Jioge. Yi Jioge set up a 3-finger-wide, 1-foot-long iron plate in the middle of the pill refining room. He then placed all the dark soul grass on it and summoned the white bone fire to roast the grass. Every time a dark soul grass burned out, it would turn into a cloud of black mist and try to escape. But before they could drift far away, they would be swallowed by the lightning snake illusory whip. More and more black fog appeared and fled in all directions. The thunder snake illusionary whip's movements also abruptly sped up. It moved around the house like a black lightning bolt, swallowing all the black mist into its mouth. Its originally silver-white body was gradually dyed with black mist, making it look even more ferocious. Zishang had been paying close attention to the lightning snake illusionary whip's movements. When the lightning snake illusionary whip swallowed the last of the black mist, he flicked his finger, and a drop of blood flew into the lightning snake illusionary whip's mouth. What are you doing? Yi Jioge was shocked. Wasn't dripping blood to recognize the owner something she should do? Could it be that this guy wanted to steal her weapon? You're thinking too much. How could Zishang be interested in this small demon equipment? His low HP was just to add another layer of protection to the demonic artifact. After absorbing Zishang's blood, the lightning snake illusionary whip immediately changed. On top of the silver snake, there was an additional black snake. The snake's head intertwined with the neck, and the snake's body intertwined, extending downwards. Try it. Zishang threw the lightning snake illusionary whip to Yi Jioge. After Yi Jioge received it, she inserted her spiritual energy into it. The lightning snake illusionary whip immediately expanded, and a silver-white light shone, completely enveloping the black snake. After the upgrade, the lightning snake illusionary whip had even more attack power than before. But Yi Jioge felt that it shouldn't be just that. She put her index finger into the snake's fang on the handle. After absorbing blood, the lightning snake illusionary whip changed into a demon equipment. In an instant, it became completely black, and its attack was incomparably strange. As long as one was hit, they would immediately die from poison. If it was at night, it would definitely be impossible to defend against. Yi Jioge was very satisfied with this. I placed a seal inside. If you encounter a situation where you have to risk your life, you can open this seal. Zishang told Yi Jioge the method to remove the seal. Yi Jioge carefully memorized it. This seal was made by Zishang using her own blood essence. It was definitely her life-saving weapon. Yi Jioge adapted to the new function of the lightning snake illusionary whip, then wrapped it around his waist and left the alchemy room. Then he called Mother Qing over. Has there been any movement in the palace in the past few days? Did His Majesty give us any decree? Yi Jioge asked. I haven't heard of any movement in the palace. Mother Qing shook her head and cautiously asked Yijioga, Eldest Miss, what decree do you think His Majesty will give us? Nothing much. Chapter 232. The spiritualists all revealed expressions of disgust, disdain, contempt, and wretchedness. It was easy to imagine that Yu Lingjun would definitely promote her sister's reputation among them. To these proud sons of heaven, a woman who became an old man's concubine was a lowly good, even her sisters were lowly. Yijioga acted as if he did not see these malicious gazes, and only asked the young guard softly, Where is Master Gong? Please wait for a moment, I will go and call Master Gong. The young guard turned around and entered the house, leaving Yijioga standing there. I was wondering who it was, isn't this Miss Yi? What do you want today? Yu Lingjun crossed her arms in front of her chest, and her attitude was sarcastic. I am here to give Master Gong goo worms and pills. Yijioga smiled and said sincerely to Yu Lingjun, I have to thank Miss Yu for the 3-star serene grass, or else I would not be able to successfully refine this poison-repellent pill. When Yu Lingjun heard this, her face immediately turned red. Because of the 3-star serene grass, she was severely reprimanded by her grandfather, saying that she was too willful and immature. The most despicable person was that Yi Shanshan, who pretended to blame her for everything and wanted to apologize to her. Although she did not want this bitch to apologize, she did not mind humiliating her. She did not expect her grandfather to protect this little bitch, and instead blame her for not knowing the rules and bullying her elders. When Yu Lingjun thought of this, she glared at Yijioga with even more hatred and shouted angrily, Since that is the case, then quickly hand over the goo worms and pills. Hand them to you? Yijioga asked in surprise. Could it be that Miss Yu is in charge of managing the supplies? Of course not. Before Yu Lingjun could speak, a young man with a long sword on his back said, Managing supplies is such an important matter, how can it be her turn? Bailey Moyin, what do you mean? Yu Lingjun looked fiercely at the young man. I mean it literally. Bailey Moyin looked at her as if she was not stupid enough to not understand human language, instantly angering Yu Lingjun half to death. Yijioga secretly sized up Bailey Moyin. He saw that Bailey Moyin had red lips, white teeth, and a handsome appearance. His pair of peach blossom eyes made him look rather distinguished, and the way he spoke also seemed to infuriate people to death. The man standing next to him was dressed in black. He was tall and had long black eyebrows. He looked cold and arrogant. Sensing Yijioga's gaze, he glanced at her expressionlessly. These two were the only ones present who did not show any malice towards Yijioga. Looking at the long sword on Bailey Moyin's back, it was very likely that he was from the same sect as Gong Honglei. It seemed that Gong Honglei had spoken good words about him to them. Other than the two men, the other spiritualists were like Yu Lingjun, they were very disdainful of her. Yijioga lowered his eyelids. He already had a plan in mind. If you look down on me, you'll have a chance to cry. At this moment, Gong Shifan, who had received the news, walked out with Gong Honglei. He greeted Yijioga warmly, Eldest Miss, why are you free to come over? I'm here to give you pills and goo worms. Yijioga took out a wrapped box from his Jiankuan bag. May I know how many goo worms there are in total? Gong Shifan asked casually. Time was too tight. I only managed to cultivate 3. Yijioga looked apologetic. In reality, Jun Yichen had cultivated 13 of them, but she was not stupid enough to give them all to Gong Shifan. There are only 3. How are we going to divide them? Aren't you making things difficult for Master Gong? Yu Lingjun immediately questioned Yijioga loudly. There's no need to divide them. These goo worms will automatically recognize me as their master. Yijioga spoke softly. He did not change because of Yu Lingjun's bad attitude. These goo worms can actually recognize me as their master. They are indeed intelligent. Gong Shifan nodded in satisfaction. It was common knowledge that whether it was a weapon or a spirit beast, those that would automatically recognize their master were all of high quality. How do these goo worms recognize me as their master? Bailey Moyun looked at Yijioga with his peach blossom eyes. He did not seem to be interested in the goo worms. Instead, he seemed to be more interested in the beauty Yi Joga. Everyone, take turns to put your finger into the box. Once the goo worm recognizes you as its master, it will automatically bite your index finger and sign a contract with you. Yi Joga ignored Bailey Moyun's flirtatious look. She solemnly took out the wooden box containing the goo worm. There was a small hole at the top that could fit an index finger. TSK deliberately mystifying things. Yu Lingjun had a look of disdain. The other female spirit practitioners also looked like they were going to politely decline. They hated the worms to begin with. Now that they saw that they had to put their fingers into the box to let the worms suck their blood, they distanced themselves even further. As for Yi Joga, who dared to play with worms, they despised her to the extreme. I'll go first. How do we do it? Bailey Moyun immediately responded. Just put your finger in. Yi Joga handed the box over. Bailey Moyun raised his slender and fair index finger. Under everyone's gaze, he slowly inserted it into the box. Bailey Moyun's handsome face immediately revealed an expression of surprise. What's wrong? Gong Honglei quickly asked. It hit. Bailey Moyun withdrew his finger. There was a small wound on it. Then, a black shadow flew out of the box like lightning. It landed on Bailey Moyun's arm and quickly turned into a cocoon. Then, it quickly broke out of the cocoon. Chapter 233. Junior sister, watch me. Xiao Xiaohua said confidently. Although Yu Lingjun was a bit arrogant and not good-looking, he had to serve her well for the sake of the Lingyun ancestor. Go, go! Yu Lingjun saw that Lin Yanxi, who was standing not far away, was also tempted and immediately became anxious. Lin Yanxi was a disciple of the Tianxiang sect. Those stinky men would definitely fight over the remaining 2 goo in order to please her. I'll do it. Xiao Xiaohua immediately squeezed in front of Yi Joga. Yi Joga handed over the box indifferently. Xiao Xiaohua also put his finger into the box, but was immediately bounced out. Sorry, you don't meet the requirements for the goo to recognize you as its owner. Next. Yi Joga ignored Xiao Xiaohua's disappointed expression and immediately moved the box away. Wait! Xiao Xiaohua couldn't accept that he couldn't even subdue a goo. Just as he was about to argue with Yi Joga, he was pushed away by a tall and thin young man. Before Xiao Xiaohua could speak, Yu Lingjun already shouted angrily, Wang Haoqiang, what are you trying to do? There are so many people behind, and each one of them is as long-winded as you. When will the queue end? Wang Haoqiang glanced at Yu Lingjun with disdain. He looked so shabby and still had the face to make a fuss. Did he really think he was invincible because of the Lingyun ancestor's name? Their Qiqiao pavilion wasn't afraid of her spirit medicine sect. You don't even want this goo, you just want to use it to please someone. Yu Lingjun said hatefully. Tisk, it's none of your business who I want to please. Wang Haoqiang didn't hide his thoughts at all. He saw Bailey Moyun using a little goo bird to please the female spirit practitioner, and he was already jealous. Especially Lin Yanxi, who he admired, also loved the little goo bird, so he decided that he had to get one for himself. Please put your finger in. Yi Joga acted as if he didn't hear their quarrel and said indifferently. Wang Haoqiang raised his index finger and stuck it in fiercely, constantly chanting in his heart, bite, bite. In the end, he flicked it even faster than Xiao Xiaohua. Sorry, you don't meet the rules for goo worms. Next, Yi Joga said according to the book. Impossible. Is this bug stupid? It doesn't recognize me. Wang Haoqiang said in disbelief. Strength, this is strength. Bailey Moyun said with a grin, then used his elbow to poke the stern man's waist and said with a grin, Ali, you should also try. Ali, Nangong Li, a core disciple of the Purple Cloud sect, was also Bailey Moyun's best friend. Next. This time, Yi Joga directly walked in front of Nangong Li. Nangong Li frowned slightly. It was obvious that he did not want to participate. Just give it a try. Bailey Moyun incited from the side. Nangong Li was so annoyed by Bailey Moyun that he casually put his finger into the box. Did we hit the jackpot? Bailey Moyun was even more nervous than Nangong Li. Wang Lin nodded his head. He looked at Yi Jioge meaningfully, but didn't say anything else. Quick, let's see what kind of goo worm you have. Bailey Moyun pulled Wang Li's finger out. Another black shadow came out of the box and stood on Wang Li's arm. It was a black eagle with blood-red eyes. The eagle, which was the size of a thumb, was both mighty and adorable, causing the female spiritualist to shriek. Yours is not bad too, Bailey Moyun exclaimed. However, he still liked his Xiaotao more. Wang Li was originally worried that this goo worm would be very feminine, but he was relieved when he saw that it was an eagle. There's only one left. Yi Jioge raised the box high and asked, who else wants to try? Honglei, give it a try. Bailey Moyun pulled Gong Honglei over and forcefully pressed his finger into the box. Gong Honglei looked at Bailey Moyun helplessly. With so few goo worms, he didn't even want to participate in this matter. It hit the jackpot. Bailey Moyun shouted with great experience. The last goo worm transformed into a cocoon. It was a majestic green praying mantis. Ah, it suits you. Bailey Moyun couldn't help but laugh. Gong Honglei's character was reckless and unyielding, and he often acted like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. This goo worm was very suitable for him. It seems that when these goo worms form a contract, they also follow their master's will. Gong Shifan laughed. That's right. Pleasing the master is also a sign of submission. Yi Jioge took the opportunity to boast about how intelligent his goo worms were, so that Gong Shifan wouldn't think that he suffered a loss. 3 lousy worms, why would they recognize their master? It's obvious that you're secretly manipulating them. Wang Haoqiang ordered. The other failed candidates also responded. I was wondering why Master Gong was so protective of her. It turns out that he's so good at pleasing people. We're really inferior to him. Yu Lingjun said sarcastically. Many people agreed with her. These spiritualists came from various large sects, and they were dissatisfied with Gong Shifan, the leader who suppressed their own seniors. They didn't dare to say anything in the open, but they dared to agree in secret. Yi Jioge treated Yu Lingjuan's sarcasm as a dog's bark. This was Gong Shifan's territory, so it was not her turn to be in the limelight. In the end, before Gong Shifan could speak, a pleasant and clear voice sounded behind her. Spiritual objects belong to the capable. What right does a useless person have to question it? Who's there? Yu Lingjun widened her eyes and looked at Yi Jioge, but the figure of a beautiful man appeared in her eyes. His black eyebrows reached his temples, his black eyes were as bright as stars, his nose was high, and he had a rosy and charming appearance. Just by standing there, he gave off a domineering aura as if he was looking down on the world, as if the universe was in his hands. Yu Lingjuan's heart was beating faster. She had seen many handsome men in the Danyang sect, but compared to the person in front of her, they all paled in comparison. The world was dark and gloomy. It was as if he was the only bright light. When did such a devilishly handsome man appear? It was unbelievable that she didn't even notice it. There were many people who felt the same way as Yu Lingjun, and most of the female spiritualists stared at him. The male spiritualist was filled with hostility. They didn't even notice when this devilishly handsome man appeared. It was as if he suddenly appeared as soon as he spoke. What are you doing? Yi Jioge was most annoyed by Zi Shang's behavior, attracting bees and butterflies. Was he afraid that people didn't know he was handsome? Of course, I'm teaching these useless people how to be human. Zi Shang replied seriously. You're a demon, teaching others how to be human. Don't you have any shame? Yi Jioge glared at Zi Shang fiercely and said in a low voice, Go down, don't cause trouble for me. Unfortunately, given the current situation, it was too late for Zi Shang to go down even if he wanted to because Gong Shifan was already looking over. Chapter 234. The moment Zi Shang appeared, Gong Shifan already guessed that he was the famous expert in Alchemy City. He took a step forward and smiled at Yi Jioge. You must be Master Yun's guard, Yi Zi. Yi Jioge nodded helplessly. I heard that Brother Yi Zi defeated a demonic cultivator by yourself in Alchemy City. You do live up to your reputation. Gong Shifan praised. I heard that Master Gong's team is made up of elites from various sects, but they don't live up to their reputation. Xianxia's tone was full of disdain. Gong Shifan frowned and looked at Yi Jioge. Aren't you going to control your guard? Yi, stop it. Yi Jioge's scolding was not threatening at all. She could tell that Xianxia was here to cause trouble. How could she, the fake master, control him? Miss, these people are too useless. Let's not waste time here. Xianxia added fuel to the fire. Brother Yi, be careful with your words. Gong Shifan's voice turned cold. Though he really wanted to rope this expert in, he couldn't pretend that he didn't hear such a merciless slap in the face. Brat, don't be too arrogant. If you're so good, let's fight. Wang Haoqiang shouted. Beat him to death. The others also shouted. With just you guys? Xianxia smirked and said in disdain, since you're looking for a fight, there's no need to take turns. Come at me together. Brat, how arrogant. Do you really think we can't do anything to you? Wang Haoqiang didn't have a bottom line either. He immediately called out, everyone, let's go together and show him how powerful we are. Kill him. Qiao Xiaohua was the first to respond to Wang Haoqiang's call. The others also took the opportunity to surround him. None of the spiritualists in this team were idiots. Even when they were arrogant and prideful, they knew how to judge the situation. Everyone had heard about the battle in Alchemy City. This man who killed a demonic cultivator was definitely not simple. They didn't have much confidence in a one-on-one fight, but if they surrounded him, they would definitely win. The only ones who did not gather were Nangong Li, Bailey Moyun, Yuling Jun and the other female spiritualists. Third uncle? Gong Honglei looked worriedly at Yi Jioge and Xianxia, who were surrounded in the middle. Since Brother Yi is so interested, let's play with him. Gong Shifan said calmly, as if the scene in front of him was just a game. Yi had humiliated him so much just now, so he could use Wang Haoqiang and the others to test Yi's strength. Young miss, may I borrow your spirit weapon? Xianxia pretended to be respectful as he spoke to Yi Jioge. Keep pretending, keep pretending. Yi Jioge unsheathed the lightning snake illusionary whip with a dark expression and heavily handed it over to Xianxia. Then he walked to the side. Xianxia shook the whip and said to Wang Haoqiang and the others, come. Go. Wang Haoqiang immediately rushed forward. In his hand was a scythe-shaped spirit weapon. With a light wave, countless flat green wind blades shot out. Qiao Shaohua's spirit weapon was a medicine pestle. It emitted a green light and instantly turned into countless vines that fixed Xianxia in place. The other spiritualists were overjoyed and did not have any intention of cooperating. They ordered their spirit weapons to attack Xianxia. In the blink of an eye, the colorful spiritual light surged toward Xianxia. Yuling Jun stood at the side and watched nervously. Although Xianxia's words were very infuriating, she could not bear to see such a handsome man being defeated. The spiritual lights exploded and the light dissipated. Xianxia, who was supposed to be battered and exhausted, was nowhere to be seen. Where did he go? Wang Haoqiang quickly looked around. There. Qiao Shaohua's eyes were sharp. He had already seen Xianxia appear beside Yi Jioge. Why did you come back? Yi Jioge looked at Xianxia cautiously. Could it be that he did not have enough demonic power and wanted to drag her down to fight with him? I came to invite you to watch the show. Xianxia's smile was casual and lazy, but the faint domineering aura was not to be ignored. He did not move at all, but the thunder snake illusion whip in his hand suddenly burst into a dazzling light, then it turned into a giant python and rushed out. Smash it! Wang Haoqiang roared and took the lead to attack the thunder snake illusion whip. Qiao Shaohua and the other spiritualists also followed behind him and attacked at the same time. The bright thunder snake illusion whip hung high in the air and could not be avoided at all. After being hit by countless spiritual lights, the light immediately dissipated. TSK, I thought he had some ability, but he is only SOSO. Wang Haoqiang was proud. This spirit weapon was the lifeblood of a spiritualist. Smashing his weapon was no different from smashing him. Qiao Shaohua did not relax his vigilance and kept staring at Xianxia's movements. Seeing him raise his hand to make a strange sign, he immediately shouted, "Be careful." The Thunder Snake illusion whip exploded again and shot countless silver lights towards the spiritualists present. This explosion was too fast. Many spiritualists did not even have time to react and were pierced by these lights, making bursts of screams. "You're crazy!" Wang Haoqiang's reaction was the fastest. He instantly dissipated 2 lights, but was still injured by the light. His face and body were instantly left with countless wounds. Xiao Xiaohua was the most miserable. His face was swept by several lights and was covered in blood. It looked very terrifying. "Stop!" Yu Lingjun immediately screamed. Gong Shifan also could not bear it anymore. He activated his spiritual power and shot a thumb-thick spiritual light towards the Thunder Snake illusion whip. At this time, Zishang waved his hand. The Thunder Snake illusion whip flew back to his hand like lightning and returned to its whip form. "Brother Yizi, it is only a spar. Why do you have to hurt people like this?" Gong Shifan looked at Zishang with a sullen face. Although he did not like Wang Haoqiang and the others, he was the one who was embarrassed when they were beaten so badly. "It is only a flesh wound. If you can't even endure such a small injury, then don't go to the Blood Cloud Peak to die." Zishang provoked. Gong Shifan was immediately speechless. Zishang returned the Thunder Snake illusion whip to Yijioga and shook his head, "Just a bunch of trash. How dare you look down on others? You really don't know what you're talking about." Yijioga was startled. Could it be that this guy specially stood up for her? "Senior Yizi, although our cultivation is not as good as yours, you don't have to keep saying that we are trash." Gong Honglei said with dissatisfaction. "I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them." Zishang pointed with his finger and accurately landed on Wang Haoqiang, Xiao Xiaohua and the others. Wang Haoqiang, Xiao Xiaohua and the others were angry but did not dare to say anything. If they could not see the difference between them and Zishang, then there was no need for them to continue living. "Master Gong, I still have something to do. Goodbye." Yijioga saw that the situation was extremely awkward and did not dare to stay any longer. Gong Shifan did not urge them to stay and directly sent them off. Chapter 235. Yijioga returned to the mansion gloomily. Seeing Zishang's lazy expression, she couldn't help but poke his chest angrily. "How can I cooperate with Gong Shifan in the future if you make our relationship so stiff?" Although Zishang helped her teach those arrogant guys a lesson, she still had to think about the big picture. Other than Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li, the others are useless. It's better to count on the bloodthirsty ancestor to surrender than count on them. Zishang shrugged and spread his hands. Alright, you're right. To be honest, Yijioga didn't have much hope for Wang Haoqiang and the other spiritualists. I forgot to ask about the change of surname. Zishang blinked. "No need to ask, I'll solve it myself." Changing surname was just a small matter. The most important thing now was to inform Jun Yichen and Yiyu about the break with the Spiritualist Alliance. Jun Yichen and Yiyu came quickly after receiving the news. Hearing about the break with the Spiritualist Alliance, Jun Yichen said expressionlessly, "I never thought about counting on those useless people." Ever since he successfully refined the bloodthirsty ancestor's life essence, he was full of confidence in his revenge. He didn't need outsiders to participate. "We have the same goal as the Spiritualist Alliance. There's no need to go against them. It's always good to have one more helper." Yiyu's attitude was more conservative. "That's right. That's why I want to send someone to go with Gong Shifan's team. The others will go with me to Blood Cloud Peak." Yijioga had the same attitude as Yiyu. No matter how weak the Spiritualist Alliance was, they had to make good use of them. "Don't call me, I'm not going." Jun Yichen refused decisively. "Young miss, I want to go with you." Yiyu also quickly expressed. Yijioga was in a dilemma. He couldn't send Zishang. "Actually, there's no need for that. Don't you have 3 goo worms? Just summon them if there's any movement." Jun Yichen said indifferently. "Use your life goo to summon them?" Yijioga's eyes brightened. "Other than my life goo, there's also your mother goo. You can summon them too." Zhu Nichen raised many batches of goo worms but only one mother goo. This mother goo's charm was unimaginable. It was even more powerful than his life goo. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten about it. Yi Jiuge suddenly realized. He opened the drawer and took out his specially made bag of spirit beasts. The bag was divided into 3 compartments. The leftmost one was the treasure-seeking scorpion couple, the middle one was the pink mother parasite, and the right one was the sleeping fat black rat. Yi Jiuge took out the pink goo bug from the cloth bag and saw that its fat lower body had started to turn into a cocoon. Only its round little head was still sticking out. As soon as they saw Yi Jiuge, they stretched out their necks and squeaked like little birds crying piteously for food. "Master, I'm so hungry." "Sorry, I forgot about you." Yi Jiuge apologized as he crushed the cherry pill and fed it to it. The pink goo worm ate 20 cherry pills with a blissful expression before it reluctantly formed a pink cocoon with its round belly. It evolved so quickly? Zhu Nichen's eyes flashed with surprise. Is this good or bad? Yi Jiuge had never raised a goo worm before, so he couldn't really tell the situation in front of him. Of course it's good. The reason why mother parasites are hard to cultivate is because they develop very slowly and have a high mortality rate. Normally, mother parasites need at least 5 years to be able to evolve. Yours evolved in less than half a month. You must have fed it something good. Zhu Nichen looked at Yi Jiuge with an accusatory gaze. It was as if Yi Jiuge had secretly left something good for the mother parasite. You saw it just now. I just fed it some cherry pills. Yi Jiuge said innocently. Actually, she had already guessed that the pink mother goo's evolution was related to the fat black rat. The treasure-seeking scorpion thought that the bag was too small and wanted to bring its wife to a more comfortable place. However, the female scorpion said that living in the bag was very comfortable and that her internal injuries were much better. This bag was made of the most common cotton cloth, and there was nothing special about it. The only thing special about this place was the fat black rat that was in deep sleep. However, there was no need to tell Zhu Nichen about this. This purebred goo baby's life goal was to revive the blood cloak Miao tribe's glory. If he knew that the fat black rat could promote the evolution of goo worms, he would do anything to snatch it. You must have added something to it. Although Zhu Nichen was dissatisfied, he only grumbled and did not ask further. In his mind, Yi Jiuge was the world's #1 alchemist. It was not surprising that he could refine anything good. The mother parasite was his goo worm. It was normal to take care of it first. When will this little mother parasite complete its evolution? Yi Jiuge asked as he put the mother parasite's pink cocoon back into the bag. That's hard to say. It depends on its situation. Zhu Nichen did not dare to make a conclusion about the goo worms that Yi Jiuge raised. If that's the case, I can only rely on you to summon the 3 goo worms. However, be careful when you summon them. Don't let anyone find out. Yi Jiuge warned. It was immoral to privately control other people's goo worms. If Bailey Moyun and the rest knew about it, they would immediately abandon the 3 goo worms. Do I need you to tell me that? Zhu Nichen naturally knew that the goo worms that were sold could not be summoned randomly. Unless he had no other choice, he would not use this method. Hurry up and prepare. We'll leave in 3 days. Yi Jiuge said. All right. Yi Yu and Zhu Nichen nodded at the same time. They had been looking forward to this day. Blood Cloud Peak. Bloodthirsty ancestor called Skinny Monkey over and threw him a letter. Take a look. Skinny Monkey carefully opened the letter and quickly skimmed through it. This letter recorded the Spiritualist Alliance's every move in detail. It included the name list of their members, their respective sects, the time of departure, and even the pills and goo worms that Yi Jiuge sent. There was even a name written in red: Yizi. Killing Xiong Yunhu in one move in Alchemy City after he consumed the blood pearl showed that his strength was unfathomable. He could not be ignored. What do you think? Bloodthirsty ancestor closed his eyes and asked casually. This Gong Shifan has a high cultivation. Together with Yizi, I'm afraid they won't be easy to deal with. Skinny Monkey nervously replied. Actually, it wasn't just difficult to deal with. It was practically impossible to defend against. Skinny Monkey originally thought that with the mountain guarding formation, even if the Spiritualist Alliance attacked, they would not be able to return. He didn't expect them to have such a clear understanding of the mountain guarding formation and even prepared pills and goo worms. If the mountain guarding formation was broken, no one would be able to resist. At the very least, he had already begun to ponder how to escape with Yunji if the mountain guarding formation could not hold. In the end, Bloodthirsty sect was only a force established by bloodthirsty ancestor alone. The disciples in the sect were uneven, and no one would risk their lives for the ancestor. Chapter 236. You don't need to worry about this. I have a way to deal with it. Tell the people to keep an eye on the protective formation. If anything goes wrong, I will use you to refine it. Bloodthirsty ancestor opened his eyes. His gaze was like lightning that could see through people's minds. Skinny Monkey shivered inwardly. He hurried to answer, "Forefather, don't worry. I will keep an eye on the protective formation." "Do it well. I won't mistreat you." Bloodthirsty ancestor nodded. After a while, he asked, "How's Su Junqing recently?" Su Junqing has been very active in the sect. He has made friends everywhere. He has collected a lot of blood essences, so he has a lot of connections. He's generous. Bloodthirsty ancestor's dry face showed a strange smile. I also received his gift. Forefather, please take a look. Skinny Monkey took out a palm-sized glass bottle from his pocket and respectfully presented it to Bloodthirsty ancestor. The red liquid inside the glass bottle was very viscous. It was the essence of human blood. If he is so kind, then you should accept it. Bloodthirsty ancestor waved his hand. He didn't really like this kind of thing. Skinny Monkey put away the glass bottle with a smile. How is blood slave number 13? Bloodthirsty ancestor asked again. I don't know how to say it. Although Su Junqing treats blood slave number 13 well, he seems to be afraid of her. I don't know what's going on. Skinny Monkey and Yunji were very secretive. He could pretend that he didn't know about the grudge between Su Junqing and Yunji. Bloodthirsty ancestor didn't expect that Skinny Monkey would be so daring to covet his blood slave. Thus, he didn't notice anything strange. He just ordered, "Keep an eye on Su Junqing. All right, you can leave now." Skinny Monkey bowed and left. Bloodthirsty ancestor sat on the big chair. After pondering for a while, he patted the armrest and spun it. Immediately, a dark passage appeared under the chair. Bloodthirsty ancestor walked to the end of the dark passage. He saw a red platform that was half the height of a human. A skull as white as jade was placed on it. The top of the skull was lifted. There was a faint blood stain on it. It was obvious that it was used often. Forefather Bloodthirsty bit his finger and squeezed some blood onto his skull. The eyes of the skull immediately flickered with 2 balls of fire, and a ball of light shot out from the top of the skull, hitting the opposite wall. In the light, a little boy wearing a black robe appeared. He looked to be about 5 or 6 years old. He looked quite cute, but his pair of dangling tips looked very arrogant. He looked very comical sitting on a red chair that was 3 times bigger than him. "Greetings, Elder Chio." Forefather Bloodthirsty bowed respectfully to the boy. "What business do you have with me?" the little boy asked impatiently. "Elder Chio, the people from the Spiritualist Alliance somehow heard that our bloodthirsty sect is cultivating blood lotuses. They've sent a small team to snatch them. I'm afraid that I'll delay Elder Chio's business, so I came to report." Bloodthirsty forefather didn't dare to say that he had plotted against the city lord of Alchemy City to attract this attack. Instead, he pushed all the blame onto the Spiritualist Alliance. F***CK, those guys from the Spiritualist Alliance actually dared to covet my blood lotus. They are courting death. The little boy immediately flew into a rage and slammed the chair he was sitting on. He wanted nothing more than to rush out and kill the Spiritualist Alliance. "I've had a problem with my cultivation recently. The Spiritualist Alliance is coming at me fiercely, and I'm afraid I can't stop them. Please help me, Elder Chio," Bloodthirsty forefather cried. He was just trying to coax Cho Senator. He hadn't been able to finish his cultivation perfectly last time, but it didn't affect him too much. Fighting the Spiritualist Alliance wasn't a problem. However, he had always been a sly old fox, so he naturally had to find help for such a difficult task. No problem, I'll send someone to help right now. When the time comes, we'll capture the Spiritualist Alliance in one fell swoop. They'll be perfect fertilizer for my blood lotus, the little boy shouted arrogantly. Then I'll wait for the envoy's arrival. Bloodthirsty Forefather was extremely excited and moved to tears. Just you wait. They'll be here in 2 days at the latest. The little boy waved his hand, and the image immediately disappeared. Bloodthirsty Forefather finally straightened his back, a satisfied expression on his face. With Corp's sect's help, no matter how well prepared the Spiritualist Alliance was, they would still die. In Corp's sect, thousands of miles away, after Chosun closed the image with Bloodthirsty Forefather, he sent out a communication talisman and shouted, "Yue, come in." A moment later, a lazy voice came from outside Forefather Chosun's cave. "Elder, are you calling me?" "Yes, come in." Chosun responded. The stone door of the cave opened, and a fragrant wind wafted in. Then a beautiful woman walked in. It was Chosun's eldest disciple, Yue. She had a pair of limpid eyes, and when she looked at people, it was as if she wanted to see into their hearts. She wore a dark red chest-length dress, revealing a large portion of her fair skin, and was full of charm. Although Chosun had turned into a child because of his cultivation technique, he still admired women like a grown man. He really liked this charming eldest disciple. Disciple greets elder. What instructions does elder have for disciple? Yue bowed, and the deep cleavage on her chest dazzled people's eyes. Go to Blood Cloud Peak and bring back the blood lotuses. Also, take care of Bloodthirsty Forefather, Chosun ordered calmly. At this moment, he did not have any of his previous irritable appearance and was terrifyingly cold. Blood Cloud Peak, that place is so far. Yue looked at Chosun with resentment and said coquettishly, "Disciple made this trip on behalf of Forefather. If Forefather does not have any instructions, disciple will not comply. Besides the 3 blood lotuses, everything in Blood Cloud Peak is yours." Chosun waved his hand generously. "Thank you, elder." Yue immediately showed a fawning and obedient smile. Bloodthirsty Forefather had operated in Thunder Nation for a long time and should have accumulated many good things. She would not suffer a loss on this trip. "I will send a demon corpse to go with you," Chosun said, and then made a hand seal. A tall man appeared silently behind him. His curly black hair draped over his back, and his handsome face was as pale as a corpse. His empty eyes emitted a terrifying aura. However, the strangest thing was his ears. They were furry, and looked exactly like a wolf's ears. As expected, Elder dotes on Yue the most. Yue looked at the demon corpse, and was extremely satisfied with this mission. It was as if she was taking good things for free. "Make sure to clean up the scene, and do not leave any evidence." Chosun took out a token carved from white bones, and threw it to Yue. Yue quickly caught the token to control the demon corpse, and said respectfully, "Rest assured, elder. Disciple will definitely complete the mission." "Alright, go." Chosun waved his hand indifferently. Yue left with the demon corpse. Chapter 237. Inside Blood Cloud Peak. After Bloodthirsty Ancestor received Elder Chosun's promise, he spread this news throughout the sect. The Bloodthirsty sect disciples were in an uproar. They never knew that Bloodthirsty Ancestor was related to the Corpse sect. That was one of the 5 great sects of the Demon sect, famous for their control of corpses. Compared to the Corpse sect, the Thunder Country's Spiritualist Alliance was nothing. After this news came out, the entire Bloodthirsty sect felt honored. The previously shaken morale quickly stabilized. Everyone rubbed their fists, wanting to perform well in front of the Corpse sect elders. Su Junqing was also very excited when he heard this news. These large sects usually only operated in Great Spirit City. It was almost impossible to see them in a small place like Thunder Country. He did not think that Bloodthirsty sect would be able to get in touch with them. If he could use bloodthirsty sect as a springboard to enter the corpse sect, he would soar. At that time, it would not be difficult to become a spirit master or even a spirit king, let alone a spirit master. When he was successful, the Dongfang family, Spirit Alliance, and Bloodthirsty Ancestor would all kneel at his feet and beg for mercy. When Su Junqing thought of Bloodthirsty Ancestor, it was like a bucket of cold water was poured over his heart. It was already good that Bloodthirsty Ancestor would spare his life. It was impossible for him to recommend him into the corpse sect. No, he had to think of a way to seize this opportunity. He heard that the helper sent by the corpse sect was a woman. If he planned it well, he might have some hope. 2 days later, Blood Cloud Peak was very lively. The hall was decorated and filled with good food and wine. The blood slaves, who usually wore revealing red muslin, all changed into simple and conservative blue cotton dresses to act as maids. The other bloodthirsty sect disciples were ordered to rest in their own rooms to avoid offending the nobles of the corpse sect. Bloodthirsty Ancestor brought Skinny Monkey and other trusted subordinates to the hall with Siyue. Lady Emissary, the banquet is ready. We are just waiting for you to take a seat. Our place is simple. If there is anything lacking, please forgive us, Emissary, Bloodthirsty Ancestor said respectfully. Forefather Bloodthirsty, you're too polite. You've worked hard for Elder Chiu in the Thunder Nation. Elder Chiu misses you a lot. Cuu smiled appropriately. Today, she was wearing a cherry red dress and a light red veil. She didn't want to give even a piece of her skin to a country bumpkin like Bloodthirsty Forefather. The demon corpse standing behind her was wearing a large black cloak that covered its head, completely covering its appearance and figure. It is my honor to be able to work for Elder Cho Sr. Please put in a few good words for me in front of Elder Cho Sr. While talking, Forefather Bloodthirsty presented the gift he had prepared carefully. It was a bottle of extremely pure blood essence pellets. This blood essence pill was a good thing. It could nourish one's essence chi and speed up one's cultivation speed. It also had an additional effect on demonic cultivation techniques. Even Ciyue rarely saw such a good thing. You're too kind, Patriarch. Ciyue accepted it without hesitation. Seeing Ciyue accept his gift, Bloodthirsty Forefather smiled even more happily. While Ciyue and the others were heading to the hall, a white shadow suddenly dashed out of the passage next to them. It was Su Junqing. How dare you? Bloodthirsty Forefather frowned and scolded him. He had specifically asked his disciples to watch Su Junqing. How could he let him run away? Forefather, please don't be angry. Disciples suddenly smelled a delicate fragrance in the passage. My mind was confused, so I went the wrong way. Please forgive me, Forefather. Su Junqing hurried to bow to Bloodthirsty Forefather. His handsome face showed fear. Delicate fragrance, my ass. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Bloodthirsty Forefather sneered and ordered, Guards, take him away. He had kept Su Junqing alive to stabilize the morale of his troops. Now that the Yin Corpse sex people were here, Su Junqing was useless. He could be used as a blood fertilizer. Brother Su, do you want to walk by yourself, or do you want us to hold you down? The thin monkey-like man smiled and walked forward. Forefather, I was attracted by the fragrance. Su Junqing acted as if he didn't know that a disaster was about to befall him. He explained to Bloodthirsty Forefather with a serious face. I've never smelled such a mesmerizing fragrance in my life. That woman must be a goddess. If I can see her, I'm willing to die. What nonsense are you talking about? Take him away. Bloodthirsty Forefather didn't want to listen to Su Junqing's nonsense. The thin monkey-like man and the others dashed towards Su Junqing like wolves and tigers. They wanted to drag him away. At this moment, Ciyue, who had been silent all this time, suddenly opened her mouth. So, the thin monkey-like man's heart sank. He hurried to look at Bloodthirsty Forefather. Great messenger, my disciple had an accident while cultivating. His mind is muddled. If he offended you, please forgive him. Bloodthirsty Forefather hurried to explain to Ciyue. Really? I think your disciple isn't bad. Ciyue's ambiguous eyes fell on Su Junqing. Su Junqing was wearing a white robe with wide sleeves. He was tall and elegant, and his eyes were full of love. He smiled before he said anything, which was unforgettable. Especially when he was set off by the ugly disciples of bloodthirsty sect, he was like the rising sun. He was the type that Ciyue liked the most. If Great Messenger is interested, I will definitely arrange a better one for you. Bloodthirsty forefather felt that something was wrong when he saw Ciyue's eyes, but he still wanted to save him. This Su Junqing was too cunning. He wasn't on the same side as him. If he really made a connection with Ciyue, it wouldn't be good for him. No need. It's him. Ciyue looked at bloodthirsty forefather and said with a faint smile, "Forefather, are you reluctant?" "Huh, what are you talking about? Forget about a disciple. If Great Messenger wants my bloodthirsty sect, I will give it to you with both hands." Bloodthirsty forefather pretended to laugh heartily. He still needed to rely on Ciyue to deal with the people of the Spiritualist Alliance. How could he fall out with Su Junqing? Skinny Monkey watched anxiously from the side and wanted to stab Su Junqing. However, he also knew that it was impossible to play tricks in front of the Ein Corp's sect messenger, so he immediately changed his attitude. He helped Su Junqing pat the non-existent dirt off his body and said with a flattering smile, "Brother Su, please don't take it to heart if I offended you just now. Big Brother Skinny Monkey is too polite." Su Junqing gently smiled at Skinny Monkey and then shyly stood next to Ciyue. He said meekly and gratefully, "Thank you, Great Messenger, for helping me out." "What's the use of just saying thanks? Don't you have anything to say?" Ciyue narrowed her eyes. Her slender, white, jade-like fingers lightly pinched Su Junqing's chin. Her pinky finger even touched his Adam's apple ambiguously. Her teasing method was very experienced. Chapter 238. Su Junqing just smiled shyly, looking like a virgin who didn't understand love. He knew very well that Ciyue, a demon who had killed countless men, liked men who were young on the top and brave on the bottom. Although he had successfully attracted Ciyue's attention, he still had to perform tonight to get close to her. Ciyue's heart itched from Su Junqing's teasing. She was no longer in the mood to deal with Ancestor Bloodthirsty. After drinking a few glasses of wine at the banquet, she took Su Junqing to rest with the excuse that she was tired from the journey. Ancestor Bloodthirsty watched Ciyue and Su Junqing leave, his eyes darkening. He dismissed the blood slave and the other disciples, leaving only Skinny Monkey behind. "You'll have to work hard tonight. Keep an eye on Su Junqing. When they're done, find a chance to kill him." Ancestor Bloodthirsty did not dare to openly oppose Ciyue, but if he could kill Su Junqing in private, he believed that Ciyue would not turn against him. This subordinate understands. Skinny Monkey nodded quickly. He had been worried that the ancestor would let Su Junqing go, but now he was relieved. "Be careful. Don't let Ciyue find out," Ancestor Bloodthirsty warned. Although Skinny Monkey's hiding skills were very good, there was no guarantee that nothing would go wrong. This subordinate understands. Skinny Monkey bowed, then left the hall and entered the secret passage. He quietly came to the room prepared for Ciyue. He could only hear the sounds of moaning coming from inside. In just a short while, Ciyue and Su Junqing had already done it. Su Junqing dared to seduce Ciyue because he was confident in his skills in bed. When he was cultivating the bewitching art, he had also cultivated a special technique called the Golden Spear Unfalling Attack. This technique could keep his yang energy from leaking even if he slept with 10 women in one night. This way, he would not have to worry about being sucked dry. Su Junqing used all his skills to deal with Ciyue, checking her body from top to bottom. Ciyue had only thought of Su Junqing as a pastime. She did not expect his skills to be so good. His nimble lips and hot hands made her confused. Her body was on fire, and she could not stop. Skinny Monkey squatted in the secret room, listening to the silver sound surf. This sound that could make a person's blood boil had no effect on him. All he could think of was how to kill Su Junqing. Skinny Monkey waited quietly. He didn't expect Su Junqing to be so brave. After working for an entire night, he didn't show any signs of fatigue. Furthermore, his tricks were endless. tormenting Siyue to the point where she was hovering between life and death. In the end, she had to beg for her husband's mercy in a hoarse voice. With Siyue's status, Su Junqing was only qualified to carry her shoes. Who would have thought that she would actually call Su Junqing husband? Although it was only in bed, from her sweet and seductive voice, it was obvious that she had been conquered by Su Junqing's skills in bed. This was not good. If Siyue really took Su Junqing under her skirt, she might bring him back to the Yin Corpse sect. Sure enough, Su Junqing took advantage of Siyue's confusion and began to coax her with all kinds of sweet words, begging her to take him back to the Yin Corpse sect. "Sweetheart, don't worry. I will definitely bring you back." Siyue's eyes were like silk as she ruthlessly pinched Su Junqing's naked chest. She had tormented Su Junqing quite a bit when she was feeling good just now. Su Junqing was also a capable person. In order to achieve his goal, this little injury was nothing at all. He sorrowfully talked about his situation in the bloodthirsty sect, and finally sighed. "The bloodthirsty ancestor has already decided to kill me. Even you might not be able to protect me here." Hearing this, Siyue's pretty face instantly became angry. She shouted, "He dares!" Su Junqing was a rare beauty. Before she was tired of playing with him, no one should even think about touching him. He is much more daring than you think. Su Junqing bit Siyue's earlobe. His hands did not stop moving. Siyue had to admit that Su Junqing was right. The bloodthirsty ancestor was indeed very daring. Elder Chosen had arranged for him to collect blood to cultivate the blood lotus, but he had used his position to gather a group of disciples to go around killing people for his own benefit. Now, he had even attracted the pursuit of the Spiritualist Alliance. He thought that he had done it secretly, but in reality his every move was under Elder Chosen's eyes. Now that Elder Chosen had given the order to eradicate Blood Cloud Peak, everyone had to die. This way, it was not suitable for his heart to stay here, in case he was accidentally injured. Siyue immediately made a decision. With a wave of her hand, the storage bag on the ground flew into her hand. She took out a black token from inside and said to Su Junqing, "Since that's the case, you can go to the Yin Corpse sect first. With this token, you can become an outer sect disciple. I'll come find you after I'm done here." Su Junqing was ecstatic, but his face was still calm. He casually placed the token on the side of the bed, then flipped over and pressed down on Siyue. Immediately, he felt another wave of absurdity. Hiding in the secret room, Skinny Monkey felt his heart turn cold. Su Junqing had actually hooked up with Siyue, and had even obtained the token to enter the Yin Corpse sect. How could a deranged beast like him be so lucky? Was it because he was handsome and good in bed? This Siyue was also a slut. She had been so easily conquered by Su Junqing. Sooner or later, she would be killed by Su Junqing. Skinny Monkey's heart was filled with hatred, but he knew that he could not kill Su Junqing here. Right now, Su Junqing had reached the sky in one step, but the most dangerous one was Yiyunji. He had to think of a way to save her. Not far from the secret room was Su Junqing's cave. On the simple and crude stone table, the lit candle had already left a thick layer of wax on the table. Yiyunji was restlessly pacing back and forth in the cave. From time to time, she would look at the door of the cave. Su Junqing had not returned for the whole night, and she did not know what had happened. Of course, she was not worried about Su Junqing's safety, but worried that Su Junqing would break away from her plan. Since the old ancestor had bestowed her to Su Junqing, she had been inciting Su Junqing to go against the old ancestor. She could see that Su Junqing really wanted to do something. She had been patiently waiting for the day Su Junqing would destroy himself. But last night, Su Junqing suddenly left without a word. She did not know what he was going to do, which made her feel very uneasy. Just when Yiyunji was burning with anxiety, the door of the cave finally opened. Chapter 239. Su Junqing. Yiyunji thought it was Su Junqing. She didn't expect it to be Skinny Monkey. She looked at the anxious Skinny Monkey and asked in surprise, "Brother Skinny Monkey, why are you here?" "Come with me, I'll explain later. Skinny Monkey rushed up and wanted to take Yi Yunji away. Where are you taking me? Yi Yunji avoided him and asked with a frown. Su Junqing got close to Yin Corp's sex emissary Siyue. He will become Yin Corp's sex disciple soon. Skinny Monkey hurriedly told her what happened. Yi Yunji's beautiful face became extremely pale. Her body shook and she couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Her lower back hit the table, but she didn't feel anything. Why was it like this? How could it be like this? She endured the humiliation and tried her best to send him to hell, but he easily went to heaven and left her struggling in the swamp. She couldn't accept it, she really couldn't. Yunji, Su Junqing doesn't even care about the bloodthirsty ancestor. I'm afraid he will harm you. You should leave first. Skinny Monkey couldn't think of any way to protect Yunji, so he could only send her away. Where can I go? Yi Yunji smiled sadly. She still had the bloodthirsty ancestor's blood soul flower on her. If she left the Blood Cloud Mountain, the bloodthirsty ancestor would know immediately. If she was caught, she would die even more miserably. I have a way to temporarily seal the blood soul flower. Now, the people from the Spiritualist Alliance are rushing over here. If you go to them, they won't make things difficult for you. This was the escape route that Skinny Monkey had thought of for Yi Yunji. Yi Yunji was a blood slave, not an evil cultivator. She was a pitiful person who was harmed by the bloodthirsty sect. The Spiritualist Alliance was known for their righteousness, so they wouldn't trouble a pitiful girl. What about you? Yi Yunji looked up at Skinny Monkey. What he did was the same as betraying the bloodthirsty ancestor. The Spiritualist Alliance wouldn't believe an evil cultivator like him. If he didn't please both sides, he would die. Don't worry about me. I have a way to escape. You just need to live well. Skinny Monkey grinned. Unlike his usual fawning, flattery, and hypocrisy, this smile came from the bottom of his heart. It made his slightly ugly face look much more pleasing to the eye. What can you do? Yi Yunji murmured. She had stayed in the Blood Cloud Peak for a long time, so she naturally knew what the Skinny Monkey was capable of. He had risked his life to save her. Yi Yunji knew that Shouho liked her, but she didn't expect that he would be willing to die for her. Yi Yunji suddenly felt a little ashamed when she thought of how she had been using Skinny Monkey's feelings to save her own life. She couldn't afford to owe him anything. Moreover, she understood Forefather Bloodthirsty's tricks. Even if Skinny Monkey risked his life to save her, he couldn't send her out safely. Since that was the case, there was no need to drag him down with her. Thinking of this, Yi Yunji's eyes turned red. She said with a sad expression, "Brother Skinny Monkey, you don't have to be so nice to me. In fact, I've been using you. I'm not a good person." Unexpectedly, Skinny Monkey-like interrupted her abruptly and said matter-of-factly, "You have no one to rely on here. How can you survive if you don't make use of others?" Alright, let's not talk anymore. Right now, Forefather is focused on Siyue. He doesn't have time for us. Let's go. Skinny Monkey-like urged Yi Yunji again. Yi Yunji stared blankly at Skinny Monkey-like, then nodded and stood up. Skinny Monkey-like immediately went to open the stone door, but a sharp pain came from his neck. His eyes rolled back, and he fell to the ground with a thud. Yi Yunji's hand flashed, and she quickly sealed several of Skinny Monkey-like's major acupuncture points. She murmured, "Brother Skinny Monkey, I'm sorry." After that, she quietly sent Skinny Monkey-like out, then returned to the cave room. She even fetched a basin of water and carefully groomed herself. Then, she combed her long black hair into a snake bun, which was Su Junqing's favorite hairstyle. Then she quietly sat by the table, waiting for Su Junqing to come back. She wanted to completely end things with him. After the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the door opened again. Su Junqing walked in with weak steps, and he immediately saw Yi Yunji waiting for him by the table. The candlelight flickered in the room, illuminating Yi Yunji's soft and beautiful face. "You're back," Yi Yunji softly called out, then walked towards Su Junqing. Su Junqing's expression was a little startled. He couldn't help but recall the time when he and Yi Yunji got married. She always waited for him to come back before she was willing to sleep. His cold heart was a little shaken. In fact, When Su Junqing seduced Yunji, he was a little bit sincere. Otherwise, he wouldn't have married her in the Zhuangzi and made her pregnant. When he annihilated the Yi family, he also hesitated, but when he thought of the bloodthirsty ancestors' methods, he had to do it. In the end, it was the bloodthirsty ancestors' fault. But now, it was no longer important. He had already entered the Yin Corps sect with Yi Yunji's support. In the future, when he succeeded in his cultivation, he would definitely use the bloodthirsty ancestors' head to beg for Yi Yunji's forgiveness. Su Junqing pushed all the blame to the bloodthirsty ancestor, and he imagined that he could make up with Yi Yunji. He even opened his arms, ready to embrace Yi Yunji. At this time, Yi Yunji's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and the spirit power that she had been accumulating for a long time suddenly erupted. Her right hand glowed with a gray spirit light that reached her fingers. Her short red nails suddenly expanded, and like 5 sharp knives, they stabbed into Su Junqing's chest. Yi Yunji came from a family of assassins after all. She was determined to hit this close to her. The red nails, shining with a faint gray light, stabbed into Su Junqing's chest. Yi Yunji was happy, but she didn't think that Su Junqing's body would suddenly emit a ball of golden light that bounced off her fingers. Yi Yunji's body kept retreating, and she only stopped when she hit the table. She looked at Su Junqing in disbelief. Vajra body protection talisman? Did he prepare for it? Su Junqing looked down at the 5 holes in his chest, and his expression suddenly became very ferocious. He said fiercely, "Yunji, you're really cruel." If he didn't have the Vajra body protection talisman that Si Yue had just given him, he was afraid that Yi Yunji would have succeeded. "If you want to kill me or cut me, do as you please," Yi Yunji said with a wooden expression. Her spirit power had been used up, and she had no more strength to fight back. "How could I bear to kill you?" Su Junqing walked over with a sinister smile. He forcefully lifted Yi Yunji's chin, as if he wanted to see the expression on her face. Yi Yunji closed her eyes. She didn't want to see Su Junqing's savage expression. She thought sorrowfully, this is all fate. She was destined to be deceived and betrayed by Su Junqing. No matter what, she couldn't win against him. Su Junqing opened his mouth and bit Yi Yunji's slender, white neck. He swore, "Don't worry. Even if I go to hell, I will take you with me." Chapter 240. Yi Yunji was in danger, but Yi Yu did not know about the changes in Bloodthirsty sect. He was discussing the route to Blood Cloud Peak with Luo Tian and Junichen. There are no signs of human habitation within 100 miles of Blood Cloud Peak, and water is scarce. We can go to Blood Cloak Miao's former encampment. It's only 10 miles away from Blood Cloud Peak, and it's very convenient to monitor. Luo Tian gestured on the map he drew. Will Bloodthirsty sect send people to monitor that place? Yi was slightly worried. That place is already in ruins, they won't waste manpower to monitor it. Junichen said coldly. It would be better if there was someone, he could use it to sacrifice his natal gu. Alright, let's go take a look. Yi Jioga was not familiar with Blood Cloud Peak, and could only trust Junichen and Luo Tian. Missy, should we inform the Spiritualist Alliance? Yi Yu felt it was more prudent. No need. Yi Jioga saw Yi Yu's disapproving expression and explained, there is a spy in the Spiritualist Alliance, telling them is the same as telling Bloodthirsty Ancestor. There is a spy in the Spiritualist Alliance, who is it? Yi Yu was surprised. I don't know. Yi Jioga shook his head, and helplessly pointed at Zishang, who was sitting on a chair eating a cherry pill, and said, this guy refuses to say. Yi Yu secretly glanced at Zishang. He could not figure out the background of this expert guard who suddenly appeared. She was so beautiful, but her presence was extremely low. Basically, if he did not speak, people would unconsciously ignore his existence. Just this point alone made Yi Yu, who walked in the shadows, feel afraid. Anyway, it's not the few with goo worms. Zishang mercifully rewarded them. What's the difference between saying and not saying? Yi Jioga rolled his eyes. Gong Shifan had 15 subordinates, excluding the 3 with goo worms, there were 12 people left. How could they guess with such a large range? Who cares who the spy is as long as we don't have one here? Jun Yichen said straightforwardly. Yes, since we know they have a spy, we might be able to make use of it. Luo Tian also quickly thought of various countermeasures. We'll talk about it later. Let's set off first and try to reach your encampment in 3 days. Yi Jiuge immediately made the decision. They had long made their preparations. That afternoon they traveled swiftly all the way. Finally 3 days later they successfully arrived at the blood-clothed Miao people's encampment. The valley in front of him was a mess. The trees were withered, and there were no traces of people living here. Jun Yichen and Luo Tian stood high up on the hillside, staring blankly at everything in front of them. Their minds flashed back to that bloody night. The people of bloodthirsty sect rushed in crazily, killing everyone they saw, regardless of whether they were men or women, old or young. In the end, it was the old patriarch who sacrificed himself to carve out a path of blood for them. Are they all right? Yi Jiuge softly asked Yi. What if Jun Yichen and Luo Tian were heartbroken and went to Blood Cloud Peak to fight Ancestor Bloodthirsty? They'll be fine. Yi shook his head. He and Jun Yichen were in a similar situation. They were also exterminated by the bloodthirsty sect, and they also wanted to take revenge. This was also the reason why Jun Yichen was willing to accept Yi even though he hated martial artists. You don't have to worry too much. Since we're already here, we'll definitely save your sister. Yi Jiuge patted Yi's shoulder comfortingly. Yi nodded heavily. He had already endured for so long, he was not in a hurry. At this moment, the atmosphere was filled with sadness and determination. However, there was a voice that spoiled the mood. This sovereign is hungry. Didn't you just eat half a bottle of cherry pills? Why are you so hungry so quickly? Are you a pig? Yi Jiuge glared at Zishang unhappily. Before leaving Shangjing, she was forced by Zishang to refine a few cauldrons of cherry pills. The refined pills were directly stored in a pot. Zishang would chew noisily when he had nothing to do, and he still had the cheek to say he was hungry. A pig will not help you fight, Zishang said very seriously. Yes. You're a pig that knows how to fight. Yi Jiuge was no longer in the mood to comfort Jun Yichen and the others after being disturbed by Zishang. He called out, It's getting late. Let's find a place to rest. This way. Jun Yichen quickly calmed down and led Yi Jiuge and the others into a remote cave. After a few turns, they finally arrived at a spacious cave room. The stone walls of the cave room were filled with densely packed holes, and there was a small dry pond beside it. It looked rather desolate. This is our clan's sacred ground. Jun Yichen looked sadly at the holes in the stone wall. It used to be filled with goo seeds. After bloodthirsty sect broke through, the clan leader killed all the goo seeds. The pond beside it was used to baptize newborns and plant goo seeds. This place was very hidden. Bloodthirsty sect's people did not discover it. It was absolutely safe. I see. After Yi Jiuge accompanied Jun Yichen for a while, she took out the prepared rations and told everyone to rest. As they ate, they discussed the next step of the plan. I want to go to Bloodthirsty sect to check it out tonight. It would be best if I can find out where the formation eye of their protective formation is, Yi Jiuge said seriously. Bloodthirsty sect's protective formation was very powerful. Even with the Yin pill she refined, it would be difficult to pass through. The best way was to destroy the formation eye and completely cripple it. If we can find my sister, we can get a lot of information. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Yi agreed with this plan. Alright, we'll split up. Yi Zi and I will go find the formation eye, you guys go find Sister Yi. Yi Jiuge quickly decided on the plan. Yi, Luo Tian, and Jun Yichen all agreed. Zishang ate the cherry pill without a care. It was midnight, and everything was quiet except for the sounds of insects and frogs. Yi Jiuge and the others left the Blood Cloak Miao's sacred ground and silently made their way to Blood Cloud Peak. Blood Cloud Peak was covered in a faint red mist in the night. Although the protective formation was not activated, defensive formations were everywhere. Especially after bloodthirsty sect's ancestor killed the Blood Cloak Miao's people, He collected many poisonous snakes and insects to strengthen his defense. Many dangers were hidden under the seemingly ordinary grass. However, with Jun Yichen and Luo Tian here, they were not a threat. Yi Jiuge and the others carefully avoided the patrolling disciples and finally reached the foot of Blood Cloud Peak. Bloodthirsty sect's ancestor penetrated the entire Blood Cloud Peak and set up countless caves as the base of Bloodthirsty sect. The leftmost area was where the disciples rested and cultivated. In the middle was the 100-Flower Palace where Bloodthirsty sect's ancestor had fun. The rightmost area was where Bloodthirsty sect's ancestor rested, which was also Bloodthirsty sect's forbidden area. According to the information from Bloodthirsty sect's ancestor's blood, Jun Yichen told Yi Jiuge with certainty, the formation eye of the protective formation is in the forbidden area on the right. Chapter 241. Alright, Yi Zi and I will go to the right. You guys go to the middle. Once we succeed, retreat. Call for help if we encounter danger, Yi Jiuge said to Yi Yu. All right. Yi Yu nodded. His body flickered with a gray light, and he hid in the shadows. Jun Yichen's body also emitted a black shadow made of tiny goo worms. After it covered his body, it spread to Luo Tian. The three of them disappeared. Give me an invisibility talisman. Yi Jiuge turned to Zishang. Zishang directly drew an invisibility talisman on Yi Jiuge. This talisman could not deal with experts like Bloodthirsty Ancestor, but it was enough to fool ordinary disciples. After Yi Jiuge and Zishang concealed themselves, they walked along the dark tunnel to the right. Bloodthirsty sect probably did not expect someone to be so daring as to sneak into their lair, so they were very relaxed. Yi Jiuge and Zishang only met 2 patrol teams along the way. None of them noticed Yi Jiuge and Zishang, who had passed by them in a stealthy manner as they yawned. The 2 arrived at the forbidden area without a hitch. Trespassers will die. 4 bloody words were painted on the stone walls, exuding a terrifying murderous intent. Zishang did not even look at it. He pulled Yi Jiuge into the forbidden area. What they saw were countless closed stone doors. They went up and down like a maze. Where are we going? Yi Jiuge felt dizzy with just one glance. If they searched room by room, they would not be able to find them even at dawn. Bloodthirsty sect's guard was lax, but they would find them sooner or later. These rooms are arranged according to the formation to confuse people. The formation eye is not a treasure. I can't see it. Zishang shook his head. The formation eye was a dead object, no different from a stone. No matter how powerful his eye technique was, he could not distinguish it. Treasure? Yi Jiuge's eyes lit up. He remembered Jun Yichen saying that Bloodthirsty Ancestor treasured the blood lotus very much. He was growing it near the formation eye. As long as we find the blood lotus, we can find the formation eye. Yi Jiuge thought of this and hurriedly called out to his treasure-seeking scorpion. Master, what are your orders? Treasure-seeking scorpion crawled out of the cloth bag with difficulty. It had been eating and drinking well with Yi Jiuge. It did not have to do any work to protect its wife. It had become a sausage. Can you help me find the blood lotus? Yi Jiuge looked worriedly at the scorpion's fat waist. He was worried that it could not run. Blood lotus is a piece. The treasure-seeking scorpion waved its pincers and pointed to the east without hesitation. It's behind that cave. Are you sure? Yi Jiuge raised his eyebrows. Even Zishang couldn't see through it, but this treasure-seeking scorpion found it in an instant. Of course, I have lived here with Lu Yunfei for many years. I know these blood lotuses like the back of my hand. Right now, there are a total of 3. In 5 days, they will bloom. The treasure-seeking scorpion proudly said as it stuck out its fat chest. Although Lu Yunfei seemed to respect forefather Bloodthirsty, she had been eyeing those blood lotuses. Every time Bloodthirsty Ancestor cultivated, she would send treasure-seeking scorpion to check. The blood lotus was like a vegetable garden for treasure-seeking scorpion. Then, do you know where the array eye is? Yi Jiuge did not forget that they were here to destroy the array eye. Array eye? What is that? Is it edible? Treasure-seeking scorpion was confused. Let's go. Take us to the Blood Lotus. Yi Jioga knew that he could not place too much hope on treasure-seeking scorpion. Let's go. Treasure-seeking scorpion's fat body landed on the ground. It was crawling quite fast. Yi Jioga and Purple Shang followed it to the cave where the Blood Lotus was being cultivated. They pushed the stone door, but it did not budge. The mechanism is here. Purple Shang pointed at a dark corner of the cave and said, "Be careful not to touch that shrieking grass." Yi Jioga looked carefully and saw a bunch of grayish-green grass growing in the corner. It was one with the stone wall. If he did not look carefully, he would not have noticed it. This was bloodthirsty ancestors' little trap. The shrieking grass was connected. If one screamed, everyone screamed. If one accidentally pressed the button, it would immediately attract everyone's attention. Just as Purple Shang was about to show Yi Jioga how he could freeze the shrieking grass, Yi Jioga decisively took out a bag of poison powder from her pocket and ferociously scattered it at the shrieking grass. The shrieking grass did not even let out a fart before it turned into a pile of powder. Yi Jioga quickly pressed the button. The moment the door of the cave opened, she dashed in. Purple Shang silently retracted his finger and pretended that nothing had happened. He also followed her in. After the two entered, the door of the cave closed immediately. It was pitch black in front of them. They could not even see their own fingers. Shang flicked a purple ball of light upward, illuminating the surroundings. They saw 3 pitch-black tunnels in front of them, like the open mouths of monsters. Which one is the real one? Yi Jioga asked treasure-seeking scorpion. The one in the middle is real. However, if you enter like this, you will have to pass through 49 traps before you can reach the pool of the Blood Lotus, treasure-seeking scorpion said. This was also the reason why Lu Yunfei did not dare to enter. The 49 traps were ingeniously designed. Even if they could pass through, they would definitely alarm the guards. The one in the middle leads to the Blood Lotus. What about the left and right? Yi Jioga asked. Jun Yichen said that the Blood Lotus was near the eye of the formation. That meant that the one in the middle could be eliminated, leaving only the 2 on the left and right. I don't know. I have never seen it before. Treasure-seeking scorpion always went straight to its destination. Go and take a look, Yi Jioga ordered. Yes. Treasure-seeking scorpion's body flashed with yellow light and disappeared into the ground. After 5 minutes, it emerged from the ground with its face covered in dirt. It reported gloomily, "At the end of the left are the 13 stone pillars, and at the end of the right is the 1,000 poison cave." It was surrounded by those poisonous creatures when it emerged from the right. It almost couldn't escape. You have worked hard. Come here. Yi Jioga recalled treasure-seeking scorpion and asked Shang, "Which one?" "The left," Shang said without hesitation. "Then you go first." Yi Jioga stood behind Shang. In such a dangerous place, this evildoer had to go first. "Little guy, come in." Shang looked at Yi Jioga with disdain. Then, a light purple smoke came out of his body. Yi Jioga entered the purple smoke and realized that it was not as pungent as he had imagined. Instead, there was a faint fragrance. It was Shang's smell. If not for the situation in front of him, this scene would be quite romantic. "What nonsense are you thinking?" Shang reprimanded, as if Yi Jioga wanted to take advantage of him. Chapter 242. You're the one thinking nonsense. Hurry up and get in. Yi Jioga slapped Shang's butt. Since Shang wanted her to take advantage of him, she obviously couldn't let him down. Shang grabbed Yi Jioga's right claw and narrowed his beautiful black eyes. "Little guy, you want to rebel?" Yi Jioga laughed and raised his right claw, looking like he was going to perform a monkey stealing a peach. "You win." Shang let go of Yi Jioga's claw and turned to enter the tunnel. Yi Jioga followed with satisfaction. This tunnel was very narrow, only allowing one person to pass through at a time. The ground was all made of gray stone. Shang walked very casually, not caring about the tunnel at all. In comparison, Yi Jioga walked very cautiously. But after a few steps, she heard a clicking sound under her feet. Countless fine lights shot out from both sides of the tunnel, shooting towards them like arrows. If it was anyone else, they would have been shot full of holes by these lights. But Zishang's purple mist was not to be underestimated. It firmly blocked the lights outside. Go! Zishang continued forward, followed by another sound. Balls of thick pink mist spread in the tunnel. The smell of blood was pungent, but it was already blocked by the purple mist. It was a short tunnel, but it was filled with sword light and poisonous creatures. If it wasn't for Zishang, Yijioga would have a hard time dealing with it alone. After much difficulty, he finally reached the end and saw 13 blood-red pillars erected in an orderly manner in the spacious cave. These blood-colored pillars were not made of stone or metal. They were carved with poisonous snakes and ferocious beasts. Light flowed between them. They were the formation eyes of the Mountain Protection Formation. As long as they destroyed these pillars, they would be able to destroy the Mountain Protection Formation. Yijioga tried to shoot a ray of spiritual light at one of the pillars. The pillar flashed slightly, and the streak of spiritual light was evenly distributed to the other 12 pillars. This way, they could only increase the power of their attacks and destroy all 13 pillars at the same time. There's not much time, let's attack together. Yijioga said as she pulled out the lightning snake illusionary whip at her waist. She injected spirit energy into it and was about to hit the pillars, but Zishang grabbed her by the back of her collar and threw her back. Damn it! Yijioga was confused and was about to curse when he saw a teleportation array appear in the middle of the pillars. Following that, a black shadow emerged from the teleportation formation and charged at the spot where she had just been standing with lightning speed. The attack it unleashed seemed to tear the air apart. If Zishang hadn't taken her away in time, she would have been torn in half on the spot. Since the black shadow's attack missed, its body rebounded and headed straight for Zishang. Zishang tossed Yijioga to the side and light erupted from his right hand, condensing into a spear and stabbing towards the black shadow. With a loud bang, countless rays of light shot out. The black shadow was forced back a few steps by Zishang's spear, but it pounced forward at an even more terrifying speed. In the blink of an eye, it was locked in battle with Zishang. The two of them were locked in battle. Yijioga couldn't even see what the black shadow looked like. Zishang abruptly pulled himself away from the intense battle and shot a ball of purplish-black light at Yijioga, enveloping her within. He hurriedly ordered, "Run!" Yijioga knew that he would be of no help even if he stayed, so he left the forbidden area without the slightest hesitation and ran towards the flower palace. They had just entered, so Juni-chen and the others might not have found Yunji yet, so she had to go and receive them. Along the way, she heard bloodthirsty sects commotion, shouting, "Enemy attack! Enemy attack!" However, they were running towards the forbidden area. There was no one in the flower palace's path, so Yijioga successfully rushed in. The moment she entered, she saw Juni-chen's gu attacking her. Yijioga hurriedly shouted, "It's me! Why you here? Where's Yizi?" Half of Juni-chen's head popped out from the cave wall. The area below his neck was still hidden in the black shadow. "There's an ambush at the formation's core. Yizi told us to leave first, where are the others?" Yijioga said anxiously. "Inside." Juni-chen didn't dare to say anything else and hurriedly rushed into the flower palace with Yijioga. "Did you find Sister Yiyu?" Yijioga asked as she rushed. "Not yet. They caught a disciple and are interrogating her, but the situation doesn't look good," Juni-chen said in a low voice. Although he was in charge of guarding the door, he could still vaguely know the situation inside through his gu observation. The flower palace was in a mess. More than 10 beautiful blood slaves were unconscious on the ground. Yiyu's eyes were bloodshot. He was strangling a skinny man and shouted angrily, "This is impossible, I don't believe it." Luo Dunjing frowned and advised, "Calm down." Although the scene in front of her was somewhat out of Yijioga's expectations, now was not the time to get to the bottom of things. She quickly walked forward and knocked the skinny man unconscious with a palm strike. Then, she pushed Yiyu and said, "The situation has changed, let's go." Although Yiyu was on the verge of losing control of his emotions, when he heard Yijioga's words, he still turned around and left with her without hesitation. Juni-chen sent out 10 gu to scout ahead. The group followed behind him and prepared to avoid the bloodthirsty sect disciples. Soon, they rushed out of the chaotic blood cloud peak. Not good, they're going to activate the mountain protection formation. Let's go! Jun Yichen suddenly shouted. Yi Jioge turned around and saw red smoke rising from the middle of Blood Cloud Peak. It was surging towards them like a tide. Eat a pill. Yi Jioge immediately swallowed a yin pill. Jun Yichen and the rest ate as they ran forward at their fastest speed. Although they were fast, the mountain protection formation was activated even faster. Those blood mosquitoes were like fierce tigers released from their cages, gathering into a blood cloud and pouncing towards them. After Yi Jioge consumed the yin pill, a layer of gray grease appeared on her body. Although those blood mosquitoes immediately died upon contact with the grease, they still continued to charge towards them and quickly stuck a thick layer on their bodies. The group was instantly covered in a layer of red armor, blocking the blood mosquitoes behind them. They're over there. The patrolling bloodthirsty sect disciples finally discovered Yi Jioge and the rest. They commanded the venomous snakes and venomous insects to surround them while launching countless sharp attacks at them. Multicolored shadows formed a huge net that enveloped Yi Jioge and the rest from above. At the same time, a large patch of blood-colored vines rapidly grew in their path, obstructing their advance. Charge! Yi Jioge shouted and pulled out her lightning snake illusion whip, fiercely swinging it forward. The purple light of the lightning snake illusion whip exploded, transforming into a malevolent python that roared and charged forward. The blood-colored vines were instantly torn apart, sending fragments flying all over the sky. Yi Jioge made another hand seal, and the python turned and charged upwards. Although it could not break through the huge net formed by the shadows, it still bought Yi Jioge and the rest some time. Jun Yichen and the rest gritted their teeth and charged forward, finally rushing out of the huge net before it completely enveloped them. The bloodthirsty sect disciples wanted to continue chasing, but they were called back by bloodthirsty sect's ancestor. Don't chase a cornered enemy, ignore those small shrimps. Yi Jioge felt that it was a pity. She had originally wanted to take the opportunity to capture a few captives to interrogate. She cautiously led Jun Yichen and the rest in a few circles. After confirming that no one was following them, they returned to the bloodthirsty sect's sacred ground. Chapter 243. What happened at the Eye of the Formation? What happened to Sister Yiyu? Jun Yichen and Yi Jioge asked at the same time and stopped talking. After a while, Yiyu said in a hoarse voice, "My sister was taken by Su Junqing to Yin Corp sect." Yin Corp sect? Yi Jioge was shocked and quickly asked, "How did the bloodthirsty ancestor get involved with Yin Corp sect?" "I don't know." Yiyu pulled his hair in pain and his tired body slid down the wall. He had prepared for so long but failed at the last moment. If only he had come to Blood Cloud Peak earlier. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Seeing him like this, Yi Jioge didn't have the heart to ask anymore and looked at Luo Tian. Luo Tian had been with Yi Yu for a long time and should know the relationship. It is said that the bloodthirsty ancestor's blood lotus was raised by Yin Corp's sect. The female emissary of Yin Corp's sect, Siyue, brought a demon corpse to help Yin Corp's sect fight against the Spiritualist Alliance. Su Junqing sold his body to the female emissary and got the token to enter Yin Corp's sect and left with Sister Yiyu. However, we need to capture a few more disciples of Yin Corp's sect to confirm whether this information is true or not. Luo Tian said carefully. That information is true. Yiyu said painfully. How can you be sure? Luo Tian frowned and felt that Yiyu was too pessimistic. I found this wood carving from Skinny Monkey. It was made by my sister. That Skinny Monkey should be someone she trusted a lot. Yiyu took out a lifelike monkey wood carving from his belt. How do you know that your sister made this wood carving? Yi Jioge picked it up and looked at it carefully. He didn't find anything special. This was carved with our Yi family's special technique. Hold it and press on your hand. Yiyu signaled Yi Jioge to press on the bottom of the monkey wood carving. Yi Jioge tried and found that the smooth bottom made a Yi character on her hand. Then what do you plan to do now? Yi Jiuge returned the monkey wood carving to Yi Yu. Yi Yu was confused. When Su Junqing gave his sister to the bloodthirsty ancestor, he always believed that he could save her. But now, Su Junqing brought his sister to Corpse sect. That is an evil sect that is famous for controlling corpses. I'm afraid my sister's life is in danger this time. Even if his sister was still alive, he had no way to save her. Although everyone knew that the Corpse sect was built on top of the Devil Sect mountain, none of the righteous path people dared to go there. That was because it was the Devil Sect's territory, a forbidden area for spiritualists. Let's talk about it later. We should think about how to deal with Bloodthirsty Forefather and the Corpse sect's emissary first. Luo Tian said calmly, if we can capture that messenger, we might be able to exchange for your sister. You're right. Skinny Monkey said that the female emissary's cultivation is only at pseudo-spirit master. Yi Yu's dark eyes immediately lit up. This method was much more reliable than sneaking into the Corpse sect. The envoys of the Corpse sect probably won't be so easy to capture. Yi Jiuge thought of the black shadow that had suddenly appeared in the eye of the array. That should be the demon corpse that Si Yue had brought. This demon corpse's speed was shockingly fast. Even Zi Shang couldn't easily take it down, let alone them. We have to catch him even if it's not easy, Junichen said. The helpers of the bloodthirsty forefather were his enemies. He had to kill them all. Yi Jiuge was just about to tell them about how scary the demon corpse was when a small sound came from outside the cave. Who is it? Junichen immediately released his goo. It's Yi Zi. Yi Jiuge already smelled the fragrance on Zi Shang's body. Just as she finished speaking, Zi Shang appeared beside her in one piece. His clothes were clean and his hair was neat. He didn't look like he had been beaten to a pulp. Yi Jiuge let out a sigh of relief and asked, was that black shadow a demon corpse? Zi Shang nodded with a dark face. As a member of the devil race, he felt very uncomfortable seeing half of his fellow sect members being refined into puppets. Then do you have a way to deal with it? Yi Jiuge asked again. That demon corpse is equivalent to a middle spirit master. It would take a lot of effort to kill it. It's not worth it. Zi Shang naturally could kill it. But after killing it, his devil chi would be used up. If something happened to Yi Jiuge, it would be hard for him to take care of her. Zi Shang wouldn't do something that would make him lose money. To him, the blood lotus and the treasure map were all fake. Only Yi Jiuge's life was real. Yi Jiuge thought about it and asked Zi Shang, can we not kill it and just trap it? Zi Shang nodded. Although the demon corpse was fierce, it didn't have intelligence. It was possible to trap it. Miss, did you think of a way? Yi Yu asked with anticipation. I do have a way, but it's not enough with just us. We need the help of the Spiritualist Alliance. Yi Jiuge nodded. This matter was related to Corpse sect. No matter what, he had to tell Gong Shifan. But there is a spy in the Spiritualist Alliance. Telling them is the same as telling the bloodthirsty forefather. Luo Tian frowned. Who is the spy? Yi Yu said and peeked at Zi Shang. It's Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi. Zi Shang said lightly. It's them? Yi Yu cried out. He could understand that Wang Haoqiang was a spy. However, Lin Yanxi, the little beauty of the heavenly fragrance sect, was also a spy. It was unbelievable. No one would believe it. Do they have magic tools on them and wear human skin like Xiong Yunhu? Yi Yu still felt fear when he thought of Xiong Yunhu. No, they used their real bodies to hide in the Seven-Ask Pavilion and the Heavenly Fragrance sect. Zi Shang shook his head. Then how can you be sure that they are spies from the Bloodthirsty sect? Yi Yu asked doubtfully. It wasn't that he didn't believe Zi Shang's judgment, but he felt that being an inner disciple of a big sect was much better than being a heretic. Not to mention, Lin Yanxi was a beauty with charm and status. I naturally investigated. That Wang Haoqiang has a hobby of playing with young girls. Lin Yanxi needs the bloodthirsty sect's blood fragrance pill to maintain her beauty. Ever since Zi Shang found out that the Spiritualist Alliance had ill intentions towards Yi Jiuge, he specially investigated and found the two hidden spies. So that's how it is. The two's hobby was indeed strange. Yi Yu finally believed it. Jun-Ichen, tonight, summoned the 3 goo insects from the Spiritualist Alliance and asked them about the situation. Yi Jioga immediately paid attention to this news. Summoning 3 at once is too conspicuous. Jun-Ichen shook his head. If they wanted to ask about the situation, summoning 1 was enough. Sure, you see the situation, Yi Jioga said and called everyone to rest. After a tiring night, if they didn't rest, it would be hard for them to deal with the upcoming battle. Chapter 244. Night fell quickly. There were no stars or moon in the dark night sky, and the forest was dark. Jun-Ichen sat cross-legged on the ground, his abdomen constantly moving, making buzzing sounds. After a while, a thumb-sized pink figure flew in front of him like lightning. It was Bailey Moyun's Xiao Tao. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Xiao Tao happily flew around Jun-Ichen and Yi Jioga, finally landing on Yi Jioga's shoulder. Although Yi Jioga's little mother goo hadn't hatched yet, the smell it emitted was still very attractive to goo. After all, no matter how feminine Xiao Tao was, it was still a male goo in its prime. How have you been recently? Has Bailey Moyun been treating you? Yi Jioga patted Xiao Tao's head. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Xiao Tao chirped happily. Bailey Moyun was very good to it, and even found a market square to buy spirit beast pills for it. Stop being so long-winded. Hurry and tell me the situation of the Spiritualist Alliance. Jun-Ichen stood up and ordered Xiao Tao telepathically. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Unexpectedly, Xiao Tao chirped fiercely. She scolded them for being immoral and asking about her master's situation, and expressed that she would never betray her master even if she was beaten to death. Yi Jioga didn't expect Xiao Tao to be so loyal and immediately felt ashamed. It was too immoral to use innocent goo to do bad things. She was about to let Xiao Tao go back, but she saw Jun-Ichen calmly take out a cherry pill and coldly say, 1 pill for 1 piece of information, deal or no? Xiao Tao smacked her beak, but finally couldn't resist the temptation of the cherry pill, and flew over to take it. Once the pill entered her stomach, her 2 small black eyes immediately widened, and she chirped. What do you want to know? Hurry up and ask. This moral integrity really moved Yi Jioga. When will the Spiritualist Alliance arrive, and how do they plan to deal with bloodthirsty sect? Jun-Ichen methodically asked. Xiao Tao told him all the information she knew. The Spiritualist Alliance would arrive tomorrow afternoon. Their current strategy was to first send people to investigate the situation of Blood Cloud Peak, and then launch an all-out attack. Yi Jioga took the opportunity to ask about Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi. Both of you are annoying. Xiao Tao finally found a chance to complain. That Wang Haoqiang was like a clown, jumping around in front of his master all day long, and even stirring up trouble in private. He was so annoying. Lin Yanxi was also not a good thing. She looked very beautiful and gentle, but every time she came to touch her, she wanted to take the opportunity to kill her. Fortunately, it was smart enough to escape. The green praying mantis that followed Gong Honglei was in a miserable state. Its master was a careless person. He didn't know that Lin Yanxi was so evil and almost killed the green praying mantis. Fortunately, it gave the green praying mantis an idea. Every time Lin Yanxi came over, it would spray green liquid. Later, Lin Yanxi found it disgusting and stopped coming. The little eagle that followed Nangong Li was the best. Its owner drank a lot of ice and ignored everyone. Lin Yanxi couldn't harm it even if she wanted to. Your master didn't notice anything strange about them? Yi Jioga asked. Xiao Tao and Bailey Moyun had signed a contract, so there was some telepathy between them. Master doesn't understand what I'm saying, but after he knows that I hate that evil woman, he won't let her near me. Xiao Tao was very satisfied with her master. With Bailey Moyun's shrewdness, he should have noticed something. Yi Jioga had a good impression of that swordsman with peach blossom eyes. As long as someone started to suspect something, she was confident that she could expose Lin Yanxi and Wang Haoqiang's identity as spies. Miss, we can just tell Gong Shifan. Why do we have to make it so complicated? Yi Yu didn't understand. Before we have conclusive evidence, speaking rashly will only arouse suspicion. Especially since Wang Haoqiang has a grudge with us, the people from the Spiritualist Alliance might think that I'm abusing my position to take revenge. Yi Jiuge shook her head. Speaking rashly without evidence would only alert the enemy. At that time, it would be difficult to use the two spies. Then what should we do now? Yi Yu asked worriedly. Of course we're going to meet up with Gong Shifan and the others. No matter what, they're the main force in attacking bloodthirsty sect. Yi Jiuge revealed a reserved smile. When Yi Yu saw her smile, he knew that someone was ready to fall into a trap. He couldn't help but rejoice that he was on the same side as Mississippi. Little Peach, you've worked hard. Go back. Yi Jiuge was in a good mood. She gave Little Peach half a bottle of cherry pills and let her go. The next morning, Yi Jiuge made herself look dirty and rushed to meet up with Gong Shifan and the others. What happened to you guys? Gong Shifan was shocked when he saw Yi Jiuge in a sorry state. Needless to say, of course they were beaten back. Yu Lingjun laughed gloatingly. Master Gong, let's talk in private. Yi Jiuge didn't even look at Yu Lingjun and spoke directly to Gong Shifan. Okay. Gong Shifan nodded and brought Yi Jiuge to a place where there was no wind. He then asked, Is there news about bloodthirsty sect? That's right. Yi Jiuge told him about Corpse Sect. Corpse Sect? Gong Shifan was shocked when he heard the name Devil Sect. Although their Gong family was very powerful, they were still far inferior to the Devil Sect. No wonder Bloodthirsty Ancestor was so arrogant. He had a powerful backer. Master Gong, don't worry. The Een Corpse Sect only secretly sent a pseudo-spirit master female envoy and a monster corpse. They wouldn't dare to officially start a war with our Spiritualist Alliance. Yi Jiuge carefully analyzed the situation. Gong Shifan frowned and asked in a deep voice, Then what do you plan to do? My plan is very simple. Let Yi Zi restrain the demon corpse. We'll work together to kill Bloodthirsty Ancestor and Corpse Sect female messenger Siyue. Then, we'll kill the demon corpse. Yi Jiuge said concisely. Are you sure Yi Zi can trap the demon corpse? Gong Shifan's heart went cold when he heard that the demon corpse had intermediate soul master cultivation. Of course. Yi Jiuge smiled and said, I'm also very afraid of death. Then where is he now? Where are your partners? Gong Shifan asked. My partners are near Blood Cloud Peak. They're with Yi Zi and are ready to support us at any time. Yi Jiuge swore confidently to Gong Shifan. Yi Yu and Luo Tian were indeed near Blood Cloud Peak. However, Zi Shang was her trump card. She wouldn't make a move unless it was a critical moment. This is not a small matter. Let me think about it. Gong Shifan's face was heavy. He thought that Bloodthirsty Ancestor was only a beginner soul master and that his disciples were just a motley crew. That was why he dared to lead the team to kill him. Now that he had pseudo-soul master Siyue and an intermediate soul master demon corpse, he had to consider whether he could complete this mission. Chapter 245. Wealth comes from danger. There is no such thing as a free lunch. If the bloodthirsty sect was so easy to deal with, then Master Dongfang wouldn't have used the building master pills to exchange. He would have just asked Emperor Xianwu to send troops. Yi Jiuge reasoned. Gong Shifan remained unmoved. Yi Jiuge added, the Een Corpse sect sent Siyue to collect the Blood Lotus. The Blood Lotus will bloom in 5 days. If you want to steal it, you need to make a decision. Her words directly stabbed Gong Shifan's weakness. When Gong Shifan thought of the Blood Lotus, he thought of his nephew Gong Baiyu. He nodded without hesitation and said, Okay, I'll do as you say. Master Gong is truly a straightforward person. That's right, there is one more thing I need to tell you. There is a spy in our Spirit Practitioner Alliance. Yi Jiuge directly exposed Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi. Lin Yanxi is also a spy. What evidence do you have? Gong Shifan frowned. No, but I'm sure she is a spy. Yi Jiuge said. No one will believe me if I tell them. Gong Shifan shook his head. All the male spirit practitioners in the team had a good impression of Lin Yanxi. Even if he was the leader, he couldn't accuse her without any evidence. I'm not asking you to say it, you just need to know it. When the time is right, you can mention it to Bailey Moyun and Nan Gongli. Forget about Gong Honglei. With Gong Honglei's straightforward personality, telling him was the same as exposing himself. Bailey Moyun and Nan Gongli are both core disciples of the Limitless Sword Pavilion and the Purple Cloud sect. If anything happens to them, I'm afraid we won't be able to pay for it, Gong Shifan said seriously. Although Gong Honglei was also a core disciple of the Limitless Sword Pavilion, he was from a branch sect and was far from the main sect. These two people have such big backgrounds, why are they here? Yi Jioga raised his eyebrows. It shouldn't be a problem for a core disciple of the main sect to get a few building master pills. They came down the mountain to gain experience, that's why they joined us. When I came out, the Alliance Elder told me that no matter what happens, I must ensure their safety. Because Bailey Moyun and Nan Gongli didn't want to be too conspicuous, Gong Shifan hid it from the others. According to what you're saying, we're going to exclude them from this operation? Yi Jioga frowned. In this team, only the two of them could be of great use. That's not necessary, but don't assign dangerous missions to them. It's good for us, Gong Shifan said meaningfully. When Yi Jioga said that he was going to leak information about the spy to those two people, he knew that there was something going on. All right. Yi Jioga sighed helplessly. In the end, he still had to rely on himself. There's not much time left. Let's hurry up. Gong Shifan glanced at the team in the distance. With, we can blood as, they can with. King, Plod, with, to, with. Nixie with, us with, as with, I can. We, with, smash, with, by with as with. Gong Shifan had been gentle along the way, but it was scary when he suddenly lost his temper. Yu Lingjun and the others didn't dare to say anything. They could only glare at Yi Jioga. Yi Jioga naturally couldn't be bothered with them. Chirp, chirp, chirp. A familiar voice sounded. Xiao Tao flapped her wings and landed on Yi Jioga's shoulder. Darling, are you here to ask me questions? She asked expectantly. This little guy was addicted to earning cherry pills. Yi Jioga pretended not to hear Xiao Tao and rubbed her head. He looked at Bailey Moyun and said, "You took good care of her." Is that so? It's my first time taking care of a pet, so I don't have much experience. I'm relieved to hear that, Miss Yi. Bailey Moyun smiled. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Xiao Tao hopped on Yi Jioga's shoulder, then waved her little wings in the direction of Gong Honglei. Darling, hurry up and take a look at little Greenie. It was injured by that bad woman last time, and it still hasn't recovered. Yi Jioga looked in Gong Honglei's direction. He was still busy setting up the camp and didn't seem to have time to come over. I'll go get little Emmy. Xiao Tao flapped her wings and ran away. Soon, the green praying mantis came over on Xiao Tao's body. Red and green was a sight to behold. Yi Jioga opened his palm, and Xiao Tao threw the green praying mantis off. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The green praying mantis groaned weakly. It hurts, it hurts. Yi Jioga opened his spiritual eye and saw a ball of black gas the size of a grain of rice on the green praying mantis's abdomen. Although goo worms lived on poison, some poisons were their nemesis. For example, this spirit insect exterminator, which specialized in sucking human flesh. It was usually used by spirit plant masters to exterminate pests. It was very lethal to these newly hatched goo worms. Honglei said that this green praying mantis hasn't had much energy recently. Unfortunately, we didn't find a clinic along the way. We couldn't even find a vet to take a look at it. Bailey Moyun said from the side. It's been poisoned by the spirit insect exterminator. Yi Jioga said as he took out the lightning fire needle and stabbed it towards the ball of black gas on the green praying mantis's abdomen. The black gas immediately flowed along the lightning fire needle and slowly dispersed. The green praying mantis was in so much pain that it curled up into a ball and shivered. However, it didn't spit out a single word. It clearly knew that Yi Jioga was trying to save it. Chirp, 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 little Emmy, hold on. Xiao Tao jumped up and down at the side. She was so nervous that the fur on her head fluffed up. How did this green praying mantis get poisoned by the spirit insect exterminator? Bailey Moyun asked with a frown. The green praying mantis followed Gong Honglei every day and never left. It couldn't have been Gong Honglei's doing, right? I'll have to ask you this. Who approached your goo insects recently, and who didn't want them to live? Yi Jioga looked meaningfully at Lin Yanxi, who was in the distance. Chirp 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 chirp. Xiao Tao immediately jumped onto Bailey Moyun's head. She grabbed his hair and shouted angrily, "It's that bad woman's fault. I've said it so many times, but you still don't understand. You're such a stupid master. Let go, let go." Bailey Moyun's scalp hurt from Xiao Tao's grip. He quickly grabbed it and scolded, "Are you trying to rebel?" Chirp 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 chirp. Xiao Tao shouted with an unyielding look. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Does eldest miss know what Xiao Tao is saying? Bailey Moyun looked at Yi Jioga helplessly. He couldn't deal with the rebellious Xiao Tao in front of Yi Jioga. Moreover, he couldn't bear to do so. I guess it's probably trying to tell you who the murderer is. Brother Bailey, if you put your heart into it, you'll naturally understand. Yi Jioga blinked and lowered his head to continue detoxifying the green praying mantis. Chapter 246. A deep light flashed in Bailey Moyun's eyes. He rubbed Xiao Tao's head. He remembered that Lin Yanxi often came to tease Xiao Tao, but Xiao Tao despised her. Speaking of which, Lin Yanxi seemed to be very interested in goo worms. She had been to Honglei and Ali's places. Could it be done? Yi Jioga removed the needles and finally expelled the insect exterminating spirit from the green praying mantis's body. Fortunately, it was not deeply poisoned, and it was taken care of in time. Thank you. The green praying mantis thanked him in a soft voice. Compared to the noisy Xiao Tao, it was much more refined. Good. Yi Jioga rubbed the green praying mantis's head and gave it a cherry pill. The green praying mantis slowly ate the cherry pill and rubbed against Yi Jioga's palm gratefully. Chirp chirp chirp. Cherry pill. Xiao Tao screamed at the sight of the cherry pill. It did not go to the extent of snatching the green praying mantis's things. It just circled around Bailey Moyun and screamed, "Delicious, delicious, delicious. Stop arguing." Bailey Moyun's head hurt from Xiao Tao's noise. He stretched out his hand to catch it, but Xiao Tao dodged and attacked its master with an even crazier cry, "Eat, eat, eat, young miss, save me." Bailey Moyun covered his ears in pain. Xiao Tao was an angel when she was cute, but a devil when she was hateful. Alright, it's just a cherry pill. Look at you. Yi Jioga glared at Xiao Tao and took out a cherry pill. Xiao Tao immediately flew over and hugged it, then hid on Bailey Moyun's head and happily nibbled on it. The world was finally peaceful. Bailey Moyun's hair was messy, and he looked like he had nothing left to live for. What are you doing? At this time, Gong Honglei finally finished his work and walked over with Nangong Li. Young miss is treating your little green. Bailey Moyun said and gave Yi Jioga a look. He did not say that the green praying mantis was poisoned because he was worried that Gong Honglei would question Lin Yanxi. Yi Jioga smiled knowingly and said to Gong Honglei, "Little green is just not used to the climate. It is not a big problem." That's good. Gong Honglei breathed a sigh of relief. He loved his green praying mantis very much. Ali, why don't you take this opportunity to let young mistress examine your little eagle goo? Bailey Moyun changed the topic. After Nangong Li heard this, he quietly called out Little Eagle. The black-feathered red-eyed Little Eagle goo slightly raised its chin, trying to maintain the same arrogance as its master. Unfortunately, Nangong Li was really cold and arrogant, while the Little Eagle goo was really pretentious. It's very healthy. Yi Jioga had already learned about the little hawk situation from Xiao Tao, so he checked it quickly and gave the little hawk a cherry pill. In the face of such delicious food, the arrogant and indifferent pretending eagle immediately lowered his noble head and swallowed the cherry pill. Then he raised his head and saw another pretending eagle. I wonder where eldest miss bought this pill from? Nangong Li asked, being able to make him, who did not smile, take the initiative to ask. It could be seen that he was very concerned about his little eagle goo. This is a pill I refined myself. It's called cherry pill. It can calm the nerves and gather qi, and nourish the meridians. Yi Jioga strongly recommended. Calm the nerves and gather qi? Gong Honglei looked suspiciously at the small red pill and asked, can people eat it? Of course. Yi Jioga nodded. People were transformed from monkeys, of course they could eat it. Let me try. Bailey Moyun threw one into his mouth and chewed. After eating it, he immediately expressed his surprise. This taste is too good. Although the calming effect is slightly worse than specialized pills, it is completely worth buying. Speaking of which, how much are you selling this pill? It would be good to buy some for his junior sisters to try. A bottle of 60 pills, 200 silver taels, internal price. Yi Jioga said. 60 pills for 200 silver taels, that's too cheap. Bailey Moyun felt it was unbelievable. A calming pill was already more than 500 silver taels. That's why it's internal price. Yi Jioga also hoped that Bailey Moyun and the rest would treat Xiao Tao better, so he did not think of earning money from these rich people. Give me 100 bottles. Bailey Moyun said generously. Me too. Nangong Li followed. Me too. Gong Honglei also did not hesitate. As expected of a rich person. Yi Jioga sighed inwardly. Xiao Tao and the rest had followed the right person. I don't have that many cherry pills on hand, so I can only give each of you 10 bottles. The 30 bottles were taken from the purple deceased ration. Then we'll pay first. You can give us the pills when it's convenient. Bailey Moyun wanted to pay on the spot. However, he did not pay with silver taels, but with spiritual jades. Spiritual jades cost 200 silver taels per piece in Great Divine City, and were specially used for spiritualists' cultivation. Above spiritual jades were spiritual pearls, and above them were spiritual stones. It was said that 10,000 gold taels per piece was priceless. In Thunder Nation, spiritual jades were also sold, but the price was higher, 250 silver taels per piece. As Yi Jioga had no use for them, she never bought them. However, she knew that spiritual jades were more valuable than silver taels, and were the currency used in Great Divine City. Bailey Moyun and the rest used spiritual jades to pay, and insisted on paying according to Great Divine City's price, indicating that they did not want to take advantage of Yi Jioga. Yi Jioga knew that Bailey Moyun and the rest did not care about this small amount of silver taels, so she did not refuse. After completing the transaction, Yi Jioga, Bailey Moyun, and Nangong Li's relationship became much closer. Even Gong Honglei followed behind her, running back and forth in a very attentive manner. When Yu Lingjun saw this, her eyes turned red with jealousy, and she said fiercely, "What a vixen! Not only does she have that handsome male bodyguard called Yi Zi, she also wants to attract bees and butterflies. How despicable! Lingjun, don't bother with that country bumpkin. She's tarnishing the reputation of our great sect," Lin Yanxi gently advised. "I'll teach her a lesson sooner or later," Yu Lingjun said fiercely. Lin Yanxi smiled even more gently, and her eyes drifted towards Wang Haofeng. Wang Haofeng happened to meet her eyes, and they both understood the meaning in each other's eyes. Sowing discord, using a borrowed knife to kill. Lin Yanxi and Wang Haofeng thought that their conversation was very secretive, but it was all seen by Gong Shifan. However, he did not say much and only led the group on their way. The group traveled quickly and finally reached the vicinity of Blood Cloud Peak at dusk. "Eldest miss, didn't you say that your people were nearby?" Gong Shifan asked. Not being able to see Z made him feel very uneasy. "That's right, I'll call them over now." Yi Jioga curled her finger and placed it on her lips, and 3 long and 2 short whistles sounded out. After a moment, 2 black figures suddenly appeared in front of everyone like ghosts and respectfully bowed towards Yi Jioga. Subordinate greets eldest Mississippi. Chapter 247. These two were Luo Tian and Yiyu. In order to teach these snobbish disciples a lesson, they purposely used this method to appear. As expected, Xiao Xiaohua's group was blinded. Xiao Xiaohua didn't notice when Luo Tian and Yiyu approached. If this was an enemy attack, he would most likely be dead. Thinking of this, his heart tightened and he became more vigilant towards Luo Tian and Yiyu. Yu Lingjun was also paying close attention to them. However, she was more concerned about why even Yi Jiuge's subordinates were all handsome men. One was beautiful, the other handsome. Was it because she was beautiful that she had such luck with women? She really couldn't accept this. Yiyu, Luotan, you're here? Gong Honglei took the initiative to greet them. Although he didn't have much contact with these people in Alchemy City, he recognized them as Yi Jiuge's capable assistants. Young Master Gong. Yiyu also greeted. Luo Tian nodded unfamiliarly. You too, tell Grandmaster Gong about the current situation of Blood Cloud Peak. Yi Jiuge went straight to the point. Yes, Blood Cloud Peak has sent more people to patrol and the Grand Formation has been activated. If we want to enter before the Blood Lotuses are harvested, we can only attack. Yi Yu solemnly explained the situation. Attack then. I want to see just how powerful Bloodthirsty Sect's Grand Formation is. Wang Haoqiang shouted. The others also joined in. They didn't care about a small heretic sect like Bloodthirsty Sect at all. Gong Shifan knew that Wang Haoqiang was trying to sow discord. He glanced at Yi Jiuge. Seeing that she didn't say anything, he said, We'll talk about the Grand Formation later. Everyone set up camp and rest. Honglei, you're in charge of supervising. First Miss Luo, please come with me. With that he brought Yi Jiuge, Luo Tian, and Yiyu to the side, clearly to discuss in secret. Seriously, Grandmaster Gong, what can't he say in front of us? He's so secretive, as if he and Yi Jiuge are on the same side. Yu Lingjun complained. Exactly. Xiao Xiaohua also had a lot of complaints about this. Don't talk nonsense, my third uncle is just being cautious, Gong Honglei explained. Teach. Why don't you all look in the mirror and see what kind of face you have when you see young Lady Yi? Why would she tell you ingrates when she has insider information? Bailey Moyun said disdainfully. Bailey Moyun, don't speak as if you're not with us, Yu Lingjun said angrily. Who's with you? Bailey Moyun rolled his eyes at Yu Lingjun, then put his arm around Nangong Li's shoulder and said proudly, Ah Li and I are in cahoots. Nangong Li expressionlessly moved Bailey Moyun's hand away and went to help Gong Honglei set up camp. Li, you really don't give me any face. Bailey Moyun put on a sorrowful expression. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The master didn't cry and stood up to rub. Xiao Tao comforted him. Xiao Tao is still the best. Zishang kissed Yi Jiuge, then disappeared again. In Blood Cloud Mountain, Siwei lazily sat on a spacious chair and casually asked the bloodthirsty ancestor, The people from the Spiritualist Alliance are here. What do you plan to do? Naturally, I will follow Elder Cho Sen's orders and kill them all. When the time comes, I will need the Great Messenger's help, the bloodthirsty ancestor said respectfully. Don't worry, ancestor. I will naturally help. Cus smiled and said, Leave that expert called Yi Zi to me. I will leave those small fries from the Spiritualist Alliance to you. When the bloodthirsty ancestor heard this, his expression turned ugly. That was not all he wanted. Dealing with Yi Zi's corpse was enough. He wanted Si Yuiwei to deal with the Spiritualist Alliance with him. However, it seemed that Si Yuiwei did not want to do anything. Ancestor, are you not satisfied with this arrangement? Si Yuiwei raised her slender eyebrows and smiled. Then we can do an exchange. You deal with Yi Zi, and I will deal with the people from the Spiritualist Alliance. Great Messenger, you must be joking. How can I deal with Yi Zi? Only you can take him down. The bloodthirsty ancestor immediately put on a fawning expression. Even the intermediate spiritualist corpse could not take down Yi Zi, so there was no chance for him to do so. Moreover, such a powerful spiritualist, if he could completely kill it, it would be a good material to refine a corpse. When the time came, it would definitely be given to Elder Cho Senator. No matter how active he was, it would be useless. It was better for him to guard his blood cloud mountain. Chapter 248. Right, are there any suitable corpse refiners in the Spiritualist Alliance? CUS. She planned to offer Yi Zi to Elder Cho Sen, so she had to pick another batch of corpse refiners from the Spiritualist Alliance to fill her own pockets. This group of spiritualists are the elite disciples of big sections. Many of them have good aptitudes, but the one with the best aptitude is Yi Jioga. Her maternal grandfather, Yun Wei, was once a very famous spirit alchemist. She herself has a mutated thunder spirit root and has extraordinary combat power. She is also very proficient in alchemy. Bloodthirsty Ancestor's plan in Alchemy City was ruined by Yi Jioga, so he immediately pushed the blame to Siyue. Sea of Cloud. Siyue was slightly startled. Lady Emissary, have you heard of the Sea of Cloud? Bloodthirsty Ancestor noticed Siyue's abnormality. The Sea of Cloud was also a great alchemist, but it was nothing in the eyes of the corpse sect. Never heard of it. Siyue looked down. She remembered that Elder Cho Sen had come to Thunder Nation in private for a spiritualist who was very good at alchemy. However, something happened to the corpse sect and Elder Cho Sen quickly returned. Bloodthirsty Ancestor was sent to Thunder Nation to cultivate the Blood Lotus. Bloodthirsty Ancestor saw that Siyue didn't want to talk anymore, so he changed the topic. He wanted to talk about dealing with the Spiritualist Alliance, but Siyue didn't want to listen anymore. She stood up and left. Bloodthirsty Ancestor watched her slender figure leave with a sinister glint in his eyes. Little girl, I'll let you be arrogant for a while longer. I'll deal with you sooner or later. The Spiritualist Alliance's encampment. The sky was bright, and the golden sunlight bathed the entire forest. After a night of rest, the Spiritualist Alliance looked very spirited. They were all ready to attack Blood Cloud Peak. I thought the Blood Cloud Peak would ambush us. I didn't expect them to be so patient. Gong Shifan asked Yi Jioga strangely. Ambushing them won't do them any good. Yi Jioga said. The Blood Cloud Peak could rely on the protective formation to take care of these rookies. Why would they need to ambush them? Gong Shifan understood Yi Jioga's meaning and couldn't help but sigh. He resigned himself to his fate and went to reorganize the overly excited and messy team. Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li, Gong Honglei, the three of you have the highest cultivations. Gong Shifan had already thought about the team allocation last night, and there was no hesitation when he arranged it. After the allocation, he pretended to be very natural and added, the remaining Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi will be in my team, and we will support everyone at any time. When Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi heard this division, their hearts were startled. Could it be that they had been exposed? That was impossible. They had been hiding in their respective sects for so many years and had never given themselves away. They had been very careful when they joined the team this time. Until now, they hadn't sent any message to Forefather Bloodthirsty. Gong Shifan couldn't know. With this in mind, both of them calmed down and decided to take this opportunity to find out Gong Shifan's background. It would be best if he could take the opportunity to kill Gong Shifan. Let's go. Gong Shifan gave the order and led everyone to the foot of Blood Cloud Peak. The once lush foot of the mountain was now covered by an endless blood mist. Even the bright sunlight couldn't penetrate it. Standing on the side, they could smell the pungent stench coming from inside. Gong Shifan shot a golden spirit light at the blood mist. After the golden spirit light entered the blood mist, it was like falling into a deep pool and quickly disappeared without a trace. Everyone be careful. Eat the insect repellent pill first. Gong Shifan took out the Yin pill that Yi Jioga had refined and swallowed it. The others did the same. Even the pickiest Yu Lingshan didn't dare to use this as a joke. When the Yin pill entered the stomach, it would instantly turn cold. Yu Lingjun immediately noticed something was wrong and shouted, "What's going on? Is this spirit pill fake? Why does it look like a Yin pill?" "It's not fake. It's a Yin pill," Yi Jioga said. "You dare to use Yin pills to scare us?" Yu Lingjun angrily asked. When she had checked these pills before, she hadn't noticed that they were Yin pills. If she had discovered it earlier, she would have definitely asked Yi Jioge to return them. Scare or not, as long as it's useful. Yi Jioge was too lazy to deal with Liu Lingjun. He took the lead and brought Luo Tian and Yi Yu into the mountain protecting array. Ali, let's go! Bailey Moyun shouted. Together with Nangong Li, they followed. In the blink of an eye, the three groups disappeared into the red mist. Are you guys going or not? Gong Honglei frowned as he looked at Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua. To be honest, he was also very annoyed with Yu Lingjun. If it wasn't for his uncle's order, he wouldn't be in the same group as this woman. Let's go. Why not? Yu Lingjun gritted her teeth and said, I want to see how powerful this Yin pill is. Then let's go. Gong Honglei took out his newly refined raging flame sword and rushed in. Xiao Xiaohua pulled Yu Lingjun and followed closely. Grandmaster? Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi looked at Gong Shifan. Let's go. Gong Shifan calmly led Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi into the red mist. The visibility in the red mist was even lower. There was a poisonous miasma everywhere. Yi Jioge only took a few breaths. The grayish grease on his body quickly came out layer by layer. It could be seen how powerful the poisonous miasma was. Why is there so much grease on my body? Yi Jioge, what kind of stupid pill are you refining? Yu Lingjuan's scream came from behind. Yi Jioge simply wanted to roll his eyes. Did this Missy think that she was on an outing? She actually made such a sound in the enemy's camp. She really didn't want to die fast enough. Be careful, the blood mosquitoes are coming. Luo Tian's sharp eyes saw a large red cloud flying towards them. The blood cloud that was flying the fastest was heading in the direction of Yu Lingjun and the others. Everyone be careful. Yi Jioge took out his Thunder Snake illusionary whip. His expression also became serious. Not only were there more blood mosquitoes this time, they also looked more ferocious. Although their bodies were only the size of soybeans, the blood thorns on their mouths were incomparably thick. A single stab would definitely make a hole. With so many blood mosquitoes rushing over, the Yin Dan might not be able to hold on. They had to attack. Kill! Yi Jioge took the initiative to attack. His Thunder Snake illusionary whip turned into purple lightning and ruthlessly lashed at the blood mosquitoes. Although Yi Yu did not have a spirit equipment, his skill was special. He could hide in the shadows and temporarily avoid the blood mosquitoes. Then, he could use puppet kill to control the blood mosquitoes to kill each other. Black Tyrant squatted on Yi Yu's shoulder with its small eyes. It turned into a black shadow and devoured the blood mosquitoes that tried to get close to its master. Although Luo Tian did not have a spirit equipment, he had an existence that was even more powerful than a spirit equipment. Chapter 249. After Luo Tian's Gu worm, Xiaohong, was injured by Junichen, it was a blessing in disguise and completed its third evolution into a blood jade spider. Its entire body was red, and there were strange black patterns on its back that looked like folded wings. Facing the attack of the blood mosquitoes, it let out an angry roar. It opened its mouth and spat out a red spider web that wrapped around Luo Tian. After the attacking blood mosquitoes were caught in the spider web, they quickly became Xiaohong's food. Luo Tian was very safe inside the spider web. She chanted the insect control spell to disrupt the blood mosquitoes' attacks and killed many of them. The most pitiful one was Yi Jioge. Zi Decease stood beside her while invisible. The blood mosquitoes did not dare to approach Zi Decease, so they swarmed towards Yi Jioge. Yi Jioge could only painstakingly brandish her Thunder Snake illusionary whip to kill those blood mosquitoes. However, with Yi Yu and Luo Tian by her side, she quickly stabilized her footing. At this moment, Bailey Moyun was in some trouble. When they first encountered the blood mosquitoes, the two female spirit practitioners that followed him hid behind him and did not even take out their spirit weapons. In the end, Xiao Tao took the lead and opened her mouth to sing loudly at the blood mosquitoes. Chirp, 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 chirp. The unique sound wave spread out, and the blood mosquitoes' attacks immediately stopped. Bailey Moyun took this opportunity to form a sword art. The dragon-slaying sword rose into the sky and turned into a green rainbow as it slashed forward. The sword light surged forward with an indomitable will and forcefully cut the blood cloud into two halves. Although more than half of the blood mosquitoes were killed, the remaining ones still rushed over and quickly surrounded the two female spirit practitioners behind Bailey Moyun. "Ah, help!" The two female spirit practitioners screamed at the same time and rushed into Bailey Moyun's embrace. If it was a normal situation, Bailey Moyun would not mind enjoying such a rush. However, the situation was dire. The two female spirit practitioners were covered in ash and the bodies of the blood mosquitoes. They looked like monsters. He would be crazy to approach them. Thus, Bailey Moyun nimbly dodged to the side and shouted, "Don't be afraid, junior sisters. These blood mosquitoes are very easy to kill." "Senior brother, I'm afraid." "Senior brother, protect me." The two female spiritualists let out weak cries for help at the same time. Bailey Moyun looked at the woman who was still acting coquettishly even though she was covered in blood mosquitoes. He couldn't help but cast a pleading look at Yijioga. Yijioga was not far from him, waving his lightning snake illusory whip. Sensing Bailey Moyun's cry for help, she very loyally lashed her whip in that direction and shouted to the two female spirit practitioners, "If you want to live, then pick up your spirit weapon and fight. Other than yourself, no one can help you. Trash does not have the right to live. You're the trash. You're the one who doesn't have the qualifications to become a living cultivator." The two female spirit practitioners did not hear Bailey Moyun's consolation, but they heard Yijioga's mockery. A ball of spirit light washed away the blood mosquitoes on their bodies, and they took out their spirit artifacts to kill the blood mosquitoes with all their might. The corpses of the blood mosquitoes fell like raindrops. The two girls had killed even more than Bailey Moyun. Bailey Moyun silently dodged to the side. He could not afford to hurt a raging woman. Nangong Li's situation was not bad either. The little eagle goo flapped its wings and sprinted in the red clouds like lightning. Its innate skill was poison feather light. Patches of black feather light cut the blood mosquitoes apart. Nangong Li found an opportunity and threw out a stack of low-level talismans. Boom boom boom. Flames shot everywhere, light and shadow were fierce. The huge power of the talismans quickly killed more than half of the blood mosquitoes. The two male spirit practitioners behind Nangong Li panicked at first. Later, they realized that Nangong Li was able to withstand the attack alone, so they quickly calmed down and hid behind him to kill the lone blood mosquitoes. Everyone had already started to get into a good situation, but Gong Honglei's side was in a mess. Yu Lingjuan's crazy complaints attracted countless blood mosquitoes. Although Gong Honglei took out his blazing sword in time, and Xiao Xiaohua and the other male spirit practitioner responded well, they still could not stop the crazily surging blood mosquitoes. If not for the green praying mantis squatting on Gong Honglei's shoulder to help, his situation would have been even more dangerous. The green praying mantis's innate skill was wind blades. Its iron walls interweaved into green shadows, killing all the blood mosquitoes that approached Gong Honglei. "Gong Honglei, quickly get your green praying mantis to protect me." Yu Lingjun stood behind Gong Honglei and ordered. She was the granddaughter of ancestor Lingyun and the only woman in this team. These men had the obligation to protect her. Who the hell has time to care about you? Either fight or die. Gong Honglei could not stand Yu Lingjun anymore and cursed. Xiao Xiaohua stood beside Gong Honglei. Normally, he would definitely jump out to speak for Yu Lingjun. But now, the sky was full of blood mosquitoes. If not for the protection of Yijioga's Yin core, he might have been sucked dry by the blood mosquitoes. He would not be in the mood to suck up to Yu Lingjun. "How dare you do this to me?" Yu Lingjun screamed in anger. Gong Honglei did not have time to care about her. His blazing sword stabbed out one red sword light after another, but still could not stop the blood mosquito's attack. Yu Lingjun also realized that the situation was not good. She hurriedly took out her spirit artifact, a red spirit brocade embroidered with all kinds of runes. Usually, when she used this spirit artifact, it would flash with beautiful light and shadows, and she felt that she was very beautiful. She was very reluctant to use it to deal with these ugly and disgusting blood mosquitoes, so she only defended and did not attack. Even when Xiao Xiaohua asked her for help, she pretended not to hear. Fortunately, Gong Shifan arrived in time with Lin Yanxi and Wang Haoqiang. They took over most of the blood mosquitoes, relieving the pressure on Gong Honglei and the others. Blood Cloud Peak. Bloodthirsty Elder and Si Yue were observing Yi Jiuge and the others through a water mirror. What does Lady Emissary think of these two? Bloodthirsty Elder pointed at Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. These two had the best performance. One had unparalleled sword chi, the other a talisman expert. They were both excellent seedlings. Not bad. Si Yue revealed a satisfied smile. Not only were these two talented, but they were also very good-looking. They would definitely be very nourishing in bed. Such good seedlings. Doesn't Lady Emissary want to pick them yourself? Bloodthirsty Elder smiled. No need. They are just materials for refining corpses. It will be the same if Elder Emissary helps me get them, Si Yue said with a smile. Elder Chosen asked her to kill Bloodthirsty Elder. She did not act because she wanted to use Bloodthirsty Elder to deal with the Spiritualist Alliance. Why would she help him instead? Lord Emissary, if these Spiritualists fail to attack the Great Mountain Barrier Formation, they might retreat back to Thunder Nation. At that time, it will be difficult for you to attack them. Ancestor Bloodthirsty also laughed. In any case, it wasn't the few good materials that he had his eyes on. Si Yue really cared about the two male spiritualists. She definitely did not want to let them go. She took out the corpse control token and ordered the demon corpse. Bring those two to me. The demon corpse appeared without a sound, then turned into a black shadow and disappeared. Chapter 250. The protective mountain formation was filled with yin qi, and the red mist was getting thicker. The blood mosquitoes seemed to be endless. Fortunately, Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li, and the rest were getting better at dealing with the blood mosquitoes. Even Gong Honglei's group was getting better without Yu Lingjun holding them back. Young mistress, it seems like these people are still useful, Yu said to Yi Jiuge while killing the blood mosquitoes. It's all right. At least it was better than she had expected. Yi Jiuge saw that it was about time. Just as she was about to talk to Gong Shifan about retreating, Zi Shang's voice sounded, "The demonic corpse is out." What? The demonic corpse was dead. Before Yi Jiuge could react, she saw a black shadow flying over from the blood cloud peak. Red clouds rolled, and demonic aura soared into the sky. A pair of black demonic claws grabbed at Bailey Moyun and the rest at the front. Bailey Moyun reacted quickly and made a sword sign. The dragon-slaying sword glowed brightly and slashed at the demonic claws. A loud bang resounded. The dragon-slaying sword was slapped back by the demonic claws. Blood seeped out of the corner of Bailey Moyun's mouth, and he took a few steps back. Nangong Li had been paying attention to Bailey Moyun's situation. Seeing that he was in danger, he immediately released a stack of talismans to protect him. The demonic claws continued to fall, and the spiritualists were in chaos. The blood mosquitoes that had been isolated outside swarmed in again. Amidst the chaos, a palm-sized bronze mirror flew into the sky and shot out hundreds of golden rays to block the black demonic claws. Gong Shifan saw that the situation was bad and took out his 100 Eyes spiritual mirror. This 100 Eyes spiritual mirror was made by him using sand gold. It could attack and defend, and was very powerful. Unfortunately, it was not enough to deal with the demonic claws. The demonic claws flashed and doubled in size, pressing down on the 100 Eyes spiritual mirror. Gong Shifan's pupils shrank. He knew that this demonic corpse was powerful, but he did not expect it to be so powerful that he was not its match. Third uncle, what do we do? Gong Honglei had used up too much energy and could not hold on any longer. Retreat. Gong Shifan injected spiritual power into the bronze mirror and raised the demonic claws a little higher. Hearing that they had to retreat, Yu Lingjun was the first to turn around and rush out. In an instant she rushed out of the mountain defense formation. Xiao Xiaohua and the others followed suit and rushed out regardless. The defensive formation that they had maintained collapsed in an instant. Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li and Gong Honglei were all at the front line. Everyone retreated without saying a word. All of a sudden, all the pressure was on them. The blood mosquitoes also seized this opportunity to attack Bailey Moyun. Bailey Moyun had already suffered internal injuries, and he was struck by the mosquitoes. When Xiao Tao saw that her master was injured, she immediately let out a hysterical cry. A circle of light rippled out from Bailey Moyun. When the blood mosquito's attack was stopped, Little Green and Little Eagle also burst forth with power. The green shadow and the black light intertwined to form a net, protecting their respective masters. Gong Shifan desperately increased the output of spirit power to the copper mirror, but the huge demon claw was still pressing down inch by inch. It seemed that it would not last much longer. Seeing this, Lin Yanxi and Wang Haoqiang could not help but look at each other. Just as they were about to take the opportunity to attack Gong Shifan, Luo Tian and Yiyu rushed over and shouted, "Master Gong, we will protect you." Only then did the two of them put away the idea of attacking. They pretended to attack the blood mosquitoes, but intentionally or unintentionally left gaps in their defense in an attempt to lure the blood mosquitoes in. Yijioga saw all of this. She knew that Gong Shifan could not hold on for long, so she said to Zishang, who was hiding at the side, "What are you waiting for?" Zishang stretched his waist and stretched out his white jade-like hand. His palm aimed at the black claw in the sky. An arm-thick purple-black spirit power burst out of his hand and turned into a spear that blasted the black demon claw away. The demon corpse immediately revealed itself and let out a sharp howl as it rushed towards Zishang. Zishang flew up and fought with the demon corpse. The surging clouds chewed up the blood mosquitoes into countless pieces. "Let's go!" Yijioga used the Thunder Snake illusionary whip to open a path while Gong Shifan used the 100 Eyes spirit mirror to protect everyone. Only then did they retreat safely. In the Spiritualist Alliance's camp, the spiritualists that escaped earlier gathered together. When they saw Gong Shifan and the others coming from afar, they all revealed nervous expressions. Only Yu Lingjun, the weirdo, did not feel guilty. Instead, she complained to Gong Shifan, "Master Gong, why did you guys take so long to come out? We were so worried." Slap. Yijioga suddenly slapped Yu Lingjun, causing her to take 2 steps back. Her face, which was still stained with blood, immediately swelled up. "You hit me?" Yu Lingjun covered her face and looked at Yijioga in disbelief. Previously, no matter how she ridiculed and insulted him, Yijioga acted as if nothing happened. She had always thought that Yijioga was a coward. She did not expect that he would dare to hit her at this time. Abandoning your comrades and escaping, this slap is still light. Yijioga's beautiful face revealed a dense coldness, stunning Yu Lingjun. Who said that we abandoned our comrades and escaped? We were helping you clear a path of retreat, okay? Yu Lingjun made a fuss and did not forget to pull Xiao Xiaohua and the others. "Don't you think so?" "That's right, we were not escaping, we were just helping you clear a path of retreat. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come back so easily." Xiao Xiaohua braced himself and said, That's right. Everyone responded. The law did not punish the masses. At this time, who would dare to admit to being a deserter? "Shut up!" Gong Shifan suddenly shouted. His stern gaze swept across Xiao Xiaohua and the other spiritualists. The spiritualists avoided his gaze guiltily. Even Yu Lingjun did not dare to look at Gong Shifan. It's everyone's first time facing a demonic corpse. I can understand your fear, terror, and nervousness. However, Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li, Gong Honglei, and the others have been standing in front of you. Yet you carried them and escaped. This behavior is truly shameful and hateful. We must not tolerate it. Gong Shifan's voice was filled with anger. Every spiritualist who heard him could not help but feel ashamed. They lowered their heads and did not dare to look at him. "Master Gong, our team cooperated very well just now. I believe that they did not abandon us on purpose. Please give them a chance to atone for their crimes," Bailey Moyun said, trying to smooth things over. "That's right. I saw Yu Lingjun run. I thought it was Master Gong's order, so I followed her. A spiritualist suddenly said. When the other spiritualists heard this excuse, they did not hesitate to target Yu Lingjun. She misled us. T. Did I force you to run with a knife? Don't throw shit at me. You are not good people either. Yu Lingjun flew into a rage. She completely disregarded her identity as a disciple of a large sect. Chapter 251. Enough, all of you shut up. Gong Shifan raised his hand and his pressure enveloped them. Yu Lingjun bit her lower lip and did not say anything. The others did not dare to make a sound and looked at Gong Shifan in fear. You are all in the wrong in this matter. Seeing that you are the ones who offended me, each of you will receive a whip as punishment. Gong Shifan said resolutely and then asked Yi Jioga, I ask Miss Yi to help me carry out the punishment. As you command. Yi Jioga held the Thunder Snake illusionary whip with both hands and pulled it. Lightning shot out in all directions and crackled. She had wanted to whip these guys for a long time. Everyone looked at each other, no one dared to move. Everyone has a share, you can't avoid it. Yi Jioga scanned the crowd and finally fixed his eyes on Yu Lingjun. Yu Lingjun immediately pulled on Xiao Xiaohua's sleeve. Xiao Xiaohua braced himself and said to Yi Jioga, Miss Yi, my junior sister is young and insensible. She is also a girl, can I take her whip? If you can take the whip for her, can you take her to fight, eat and cultivate? Yi Jioga looked at the female spirit practitioners with disdain and said, You don't even have the courage to take responsibility for your mistakes. Hurry and scram back to embroider. Who said no? Fine, I'll go first. A pretty female spirit practitioner clenched her teeth and stood out. This girl was called Su Sun Er, a disciple of Seven-Way Pavilion. She was in the same group as Bailey Moyun. Okay, stand properly. Yi Jioga said and raised the whip towards Su Sun Er's back. Su Sun Er nervously closed her eyes and tensed up waiting for the whip to fall. With a loud bang, the Thunder Snake illusionary whip flashed with a glaring purple light and ruthlessly landed on Su Sun Er's body. Su Sun Er's body could not help but tremble, but she found that it did not hurt at all. She could not help but look at Yi Jioga in surprise. Yi Jioga held the whip and changed the target. Xiao Sun, are you okay? Xiachen Shi, who was in the same group as her, hurried over to support her. She looked at her with eyes filled with worry and fear. This Xiachen Shi was a disciple of the Heavenly Fragrance sect. Although her appearance was not as good as Lin Yanxi's, she was very good at acting coquettishly to please others. Therefore, the male spirit practitioners in her team took good care of her. She had never thought that one day she would be whipped in public. She was so nervous that she was about to throw up. Don't be afraid. It will be over soon. Su Sun Er squeezed Xia Chenxi's hand, which was also a hint to her. Xia Chenxi looked at Su Sun Er's calm eyes in confusion. She wanted to ask a few more questions, but Su Sun Er walked to the side. She knew that it was enough that Yi Jioga had shown mercy. If she said it out loud, she would offend others. After Xia Chenxi was tortured, she discovered that the whip that Yi Jioga had lashed out with was loud thunder but small raindrops. It did not hurt at all. She understood this and chose to remain silent. Yi Jioga had indeed shown mercy to Su Sun Er and Xia Chenxi. This was because these two female spiritualists had performed quite well just now and were worth nurturing. However, she would not be polite to Yu Lingjun and the other male spiritualists. A single whip was guaranteed to pierce through their hearts, but it wouldn't hurt their muscles or bones. After all, she still had to rely on them to break the mountain guarding formation. Wouldn't it be letting them off easy if she injured them? Damn bitch, I will never let her go. Yu Lingjun was slapped and whipped by Yi Jioga. Her hatred for Yi Jioga was really unforgettable. Junior sister, bear with it. Xiao Xiaohua pulled Yu Lingjun's sleeve and persuaded. Now everyone had a lot of opinions about them. If they continued to show their temper, they might be killed in the mountain guarding formation later. Coward! Yu Lingjun slapped Xiao Xiaohua's face, turned around and ran away aggrievedly. If Xiao Xiaohua could be a little tougher, would he still have to suffer like this? It was all because he was too useless. Xiao Xiaohua did not expect Yu Lingjun to treat him like this. He was stunned on the spot. The sarcastic laughter from the other spiritualists behind him made him even more ashamed. Yu Lingjun, if her grandfather was not Ancestor Lingyun, he would not have looked at her at all. Xiao Xiaohua clenched his fists, but if something really happened to Yu Lingjun here, Ancestor Lingyun would definitely not let him go. Therefore, he endured the humiliation in his heart and chased after Yu Lingjun, wanting to continue to please and comfort her. Don't run too far. Gong Honglei got up and shouted. Although this place was very far from the mountain guarding formation, it was difficult to guarantee that the people of the bloodthirsty sect would not appear. I don't need your fake kindness. Yu Lingjun replied fiercely to Gong Honglei, then slapped Xiao Xiaohua, who had caught up, and ran into the distant forest. Xiao Xiaohua chased after her while shouting for his junior sister. What a cheap wretch! Bailey Moyun said while clicking his tongue. Maybe he has some difficulties. Gong Honglei still sympathized with Xiao Xiaohua. It was definitely not good to follow such an unruly young lady. TSK, what difficulties? He just wants to suck up to her. Bailey Moyun said disdainfully, even if you want to suck up to her, you have to wipe your eyes, or you will be trampled to death at any time. You're right, raising one's cultivation is the most important thing. Playing this kind of trick is really neglecting the essentials. Gong Honglei shook his head. He was born in a branch of the Gong family and had been looked down upon and discriminated against. In the end, he used his own strength to convince everyone and gain the favor of the main family. Therefore, he sincerely felt that Xiao Xiaohua was wrong. Honglei, be careful. Nan Gongli suddenly said. Although it was only 4 words, everyone understood what he meant. Xiao Xiaohua and Yu Lingjun were in the same group as him. Now that the two of them were in a bad condition, they might drag him down. Don't worry, my uncle knows what he's doing. When Gong Shifan handed these 2 troublemakers to Gong Honglei, he had also told him that he could abandon them if necessary, but his own life was more important. Just as they were talking, Su Sun Er and Xia Chenxi suddenly walked over together. Beauty, we're very tired now. Let's chat next time. Bailey Moyun blinked his peach blossom eyes and began to flirt. Don't think too highly of yourself. We're not here to look for you. Unexpectedly, Su Sun Er rolled her eyes at Bailey Moyun. Previously, she saw that Bailey Moyun's aptitude was outstanding and he was also handsome, so she wanted to develop a relationship with him. However, the encounter at the protective mountain formation and the whipping this time had made her deeply understand the profound truth that even a sow could climb a tree and a man could be relied on. Therefore, she wanted to discuss business with Yi Jioga. Xia Chenxi also had the same idea as her. Eldest miss, can you sell us 2 goo worms? Su Sun Er asked. Their group was covered with blood mosquitoes. Only Yi Yu, Luo Tian, Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li and Gong Honglei, who were raising goo, were unharmed. The power of goo worms was obvious. They were simply life-saving weapons. Therefore, they also wanted to buy 2. There were many people who had such thoughts. This was also the reason why no one dared to make a sound when they were beaten earlier. They wanted to build a good relationship with Yi Jioga so that they could get a goo worm from her. Chapter 252. Sorry, it's not easy to cultivate goo worms, I can't take them out now. Yi Jioga declined. She didn't want to use goo worms as a tool to earn money, those cute little fellows were worth cherishing. Then can I make a reservation with you? After you cultivate them, sell them to me first. You can name the price, as long as I can afford it, I won't bargain. Su Sun Er said without hesitation. Xia Chenxi hesitated. She only wanted to buy goo worms to deal with this mission. If the price was too high, it would be a loss. Let's talk about it later. Yi Jioga smiled, neither refusing nor agreeing. Although her goo worms were powerful, they were not mainstream. The mainstream in Songlan continent was still raising spirit beasts. She was afraid that when they have good spirit beasts in the future, they would throw goo worms aside. All right. Although Su Sun Air was slightly disappointed, she didn't continue to pester and left with Xianxia. Gong Shifan happened to come over. After knowing the purpose of Su Sun Air's visit, he casually asked, "Eldest lady, have you ever thought of buying a spirit beast? Our Gong family also has people in the Imperial Beast sect. If you are interested, I can help you pull some strings." In his mind, goo worms were naturally unorthodox. Raising spirit beasts was the right way. However, Thunder Nation was a small place. There were no big spirit beast houses, and the spirit beasts sold were all low rank. High-rank spirit beasts were very expensive, and raising spirit beasts was not easy. Besides the necessary spirit beast pills, they had to eat high-rank demonic beast meat frequently to ensure their bloodthirst. To cultivate them to advance, the difficulty was no less than cultivating a spirit practitioner, so besides the disciples of big clans and sects, it was difficult for ordinary people to raise a good spirit beast. However, Yi Jioga was a spirit pill master. This was not a problem for her. No need. Yi Jioga had purple decease, treasure-seeking scorpion couple, little mother goo, and fat black rat. There were too many animals, she was powerless. Chirp chirp chirp. Xiao Tao suddenly jumped on Bailey Moyun's head and shouted, "Master, you dare to raise a mistress, this is too much. What does this guy want?" Bailey Moyun looked at Yi Jioga angrily. Xiao Tao asked if you raise spirit beasts? Yi Jioga looked at Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. These two were the core disciples of the main division. They should not have to worry about resources. "I don't." Nangong Li shook his head. He didn't have the energy to take care of spiritual beasts. "I have a cloud leopard. But don't worry, I will treat everyone equally. I will always treat Xiao Tao well." Bailey Moyun almost swore to the heavens. Chirp chirp chirp. Xiao Tao shouted arrogantly, "If you dare to treat me badly, I will go back and seek refuge with the eldest Mississippi." All right, seeing how smart Xiao Tao was, Yi Jioga was relieved. "Uncle, Yu Lingjun and the others have been gone for a long time. Do you want to go and have a look?" Gong Honglei did not forget to pay attention to the whereabouts of Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua while chatting. "Let's go take a look," Gong Shifan said. Yi Jioga suddenly had a bad feeling. He got up and said, "I'll go with you to take a look." Just as Luo Tian and Yi Yu were about to follow, Yi Jioga stopped them. "Look after the others." The others he was referring to were naturally Wang Haoqiang and Lin Yanxi. Although the two of them looked quite honest, there was no guarantee that they wouldn't cause trouble at this critical moment. Yi Jioga and Gong Honglei walked in the direction that Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua left for a full mile, but they did not find the two of them. Where did they go? Gong Honglei frowned. Normal people would not be too far away from the base camp. But thinking of Yu Lingjuan's brainless character, he was not sure. "You and Xiao Lu go over there, we'll split up and look for them," Yi Jioga suggested. Although the green praying mantis was not a tracking goo, it was still stronger than Gong Honglei. "Okay." Gong Honglei summoned Xiao Lu and walked east with it. Yi Jioga chose the opposite direction. She walked for a while and saw that there was no one around. She rolled up her sleeves and called out to the imprint, "Zi Shang, are you okay?" She did not expect that Zi Shang would appear just as she finished speaking. Yi Jioga was almost shocked. He stared and asked, "When did you come back? Where's the demon corpse?" The demon corpse was summoned back. "I came back a long time ago and have been by your side. Speaking of which, you were so cute when you whipped people just now. Come, give me a kiss." Zi Shang smiled and kissed Yi Jioga's cheek. He liked it when she bullied people the most. "Don't be disgusting. Did you see Yu Lingjun and Xiao Xiaohua just now?" Yi Jioga coldly wiped the saliva off his face. Zi Shang nodded, then squinted his eyes and smiled. "If you want to know, beg me." "Beg my ass, can't I check it myself?" Yi Jioga said and turned to leave. "Brother Xiaojiu is so boring." Zi Shang pulled Yi Jioga and kissed him again before saying, "Those two idiots fell into bloodthirsty sect's trap and were captured. If I remember correctly, you're with us, right?" Zi Shang actually watched as the bloodthirsty sect took him away. What was wrong with his brain? These two are too annoying. Let them go and harm bloodthirsty sect. To be honest, if Yi Jioga hadn't whipped them, Zishang would have killed them himself. Zishang's words made sense, and Yi Jioge was speechless. Just then, Gong Honglei's voice came from afar. "Eldest miss, there's a situation here. I'll go over and take a look." "Continue to be invisible." Yi Jioge mercilessly left Zishang behind and sped through the woods. Zishang shook his head helplessly, turned invisible, and followed beside her. Gong Honglei waved at Yi Jioge from afar. "What's wrong?" Yi Jioge came to Gong Honglei's side. The weedy wasteland in front of him suddenly revealed several large pits. It was obvious that they were blasted by a spell. "Do you think this hairpin belongs to you, Lingjun?" Gong Honglei asked as he took out a blue crystal hairpin. "Yes." Yi Jioge nodded. She had seen Yu Lingjun wear it before. "Looks like they were captured by bloodthirsty sect." Gong Honglei's expression was solemn. The huge pit still had the unique smell of bloodthirsty sect's techniques. "Let's go back and report this to Master Gong." Yi Jioge was also helpless. Although this was Yu Lingjun's fault, she was still a member of the team. It was up to Gong Shifan to decide how to deal with her. "Idiot!" When Gong Shifan heard that Yu Lingjun and the others ran a mile away and were captured by bloodthirsty sect, he was so angry that his liver hurt. Wang Haoqiang said sarcastically, "If Miss Yu wasn't wronged, why would she run so far away? At the end of the day, you can only blame someone for being too ruthless." "Senior brother Wang, don't talk nonsense." Lin Yanxi looked at Wang Haoqiang reproachfully, then sighed and said faintly, "Miss Yu is a girl after all. Now that she's in danger, I really don't know how to explain this to Ancestor Lingyun when we go back." "What are you worried about? Someone's younger sister is Ancestor Lingyun's favorite. She won't." Before Wang Haoqiang could finish his sarcastic words, he saw a whip in the air fiercely lashing at him. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.